Usual, and we get started.
Have you made the tweet already?
Yeah.
Alright, let me retweet that shit.
Apparently you're still hosting Jody the Great.
Apparently you need a refresh.
Whoa.
Shit, Twitch.
Whoa! You just got wrecky decky.
Oh.
Damn,
Settle
Avi's
down
come to
there,
play
fam.
tonight, boys. Taking no shit.
Just take me down straight away before it even begins.
Whoa, we got the Falco retweet? Alright, calm down, Adric.
figured
Holy
I should
shit.
do it. Yeah, I figure, you know,
It's
I'm
the
here.
first time he's ever used socials, let's be honest.
Hold on. Get on. Wait. Wrong chat. Get on Abby's podcast. Me and Falco and Alucard talking shit. Where's the link? I got
Twitch,
the link, don't
yeah.
worry. It's alright, alright. I'm just telling the dark-sided dudes in the Discord.
Telling you boys.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't think to do that.
Don't worry, Edric. We know
Good
who
on you,
carries the
Edric.
team.
Yeah, we do.
Dude, that image is too good. Did you watch the stream, Edric? Go have a look. It's too funny.
It's pretty good.
It's way too fucking good.
We just
Jesus.
need your face like really shoddily imposed, like a MS Paint Photoshop
I am there.
button.
I'm just that white. You can't see me.
Oh, you
The white background is Baxter.
I've got a square body. Alright.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
going for that upside down triangle body though. That's why I'm hitting the
that's
gym.
that's the look, man. Just ask Abby. He's an upside down triangle. Oh.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
But he's a damn fine upside down triangle, you know what I mean? At least he's not like me, fucking deflated balloon.
Sagging at every entrance.
Yeah,
Alright,
my
well,
love handles are on point.
one of the 7, I'm assuming it's 4 because 3 of you are in the chat. 3 people lurking in the chat. Give us sound confirmation, please. Just let us know the audio levels are good, and we'll get started.
So do you have any topics today, Abby, or is this really just spitball?
Really just spitballing.
I got a couple. Hey,
Whoa!
no one asked you to be here if you didn't want to, Adric. I could still, I've still got the fucking guys on standby.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
no one asked you to be here. Adric, could you please be on my podcast next week? They love you.
Can't hear Baxter. He sounds real bad. Hang on.
That's just me normal.
Lord Voldemort.
He was
Oh, he's
just joking.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Sorry, I'm not acquainted with this guy. Not sure if we're on the
You should
same
know
level.
though, it's just me, like... You're just like, yeah, true, Baxter is a fuckhead. Hey Abby, I got a question for you.
Yeah. All ears.
And Sam, I guess. Do you ever get
What?
those, like, high protein yogurts?
Why didn't you ask me?
You mean
Yeah, shut up,
Chobani?
Patrick.
The
Go back to
Chobani
bed with your
yogurts?
bed, Patrick.
Did I?
Yeah, like the Chobani Fit or the YoPro ones.
No, I don't.
No, all I have is Greek yogurt.
When I'm getting protein bars, they just fucking taste like cardboard. That's why I stopped getting them.
Why do you ask?
No, I'm eating one right now, and I don't know, like, I don't mind them that much, but I know a lot of people hate them just because, like, you know how it's basically just fucking protein, so like the consistency is real off.
Mm.
No, I've never had one in my entire life.
Yeah, I haven't had protein specific yogurt. Yeah, I can't relate with you. Sorry.
Nice hair, Baxter. Thanks, Ice. I've been working on it.
protein yogurt. It's pretty good for when you want to bulk up.
In comes the expert. Take some notes.
Tell us about your gym and Adric.
So I don't need to. I'll go swimming.
I'll tell you guys a good gym bro story tonight whenever we get started with the actual podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna get started. Like, might as well get started now. Lord Voldemort gave us sound confirmation, so might as well. All right, welcome everyone to episode 34 of the B Stands. What's good, guys? Thanks for joining in. On tonight's show, I got Baxter, Falco, and FithAlucard. What's up, guys?
Hey there.
Yeah. How you doing?
Hello.
Guys, thanks for jumping on. Very impromptu podcast. Yeah, I don't know why I invited these guys, but yeah, they're here.
We're the degenerates.
You motherfucker.
So yeah, we are just gonna get straight into it. We've got a lot of topics to cover tonight. Some FGC, some non-FGC. Depends on our mood. But yeah, one thing I wanted to get started on. It's been a while, but I didn't get any like feedback from the two that were in attendance. Falco, Baxter,
Yeah.
how was BAM?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Thanks for asking.
I mean, DBZ itself was a bit of a shit show. MK was good besides being in a tiny crawl space.
Mm.
Apart from that, it was fine. I mean, standard complaints about concrete floor, but it's too big now, so whatever. Yeah, what about you, Baxter?
Concrete floor, as opposed to what?
Well, carpeted floor of CQ, for example.
Yeah.
So it's like around that 2 o'clock area where you just like standing up sucks dick, and you just want to go sit.
Yeah, I think my like number one complaint is just more seating, because like I know it's difficult, but take out all the fucking random stalls that they have. I know that they do it because they probably bring in revenue for the tournament, so they can like have better sustainability. But remove some of those random stalls where it's like, come play this VR game that you've never heard of. Remove that and just give us more seating for like spectatorship on the Saturday, on the pool plays day, because I think as a competitor, right, when you're playing, you're fine because you're constantly like up and down, right? You're constantly like sitting down for your set, you're up, running to like the next setup to play a game. If you're in multiple games, like me and Adric normally are, we're constantly like running between stations, right? Because our pools will normally be on the same time.
Yeah.
But as a spectator, you're just standing there for the whole day, and like I couldn't imagine being a spectator just standing on concrete floors for the whole day. So I think that would be one good thing for them to look at, like leading into next year, is a bit more seating for spectators.
Oh, hold on. Let me start writing this down. Keep going.
Right now,
I looked at his mug fucking and he said that and I was like, you piece of shit.
Nah, keep going. I'll make a mental note.
But in terms of like my enjoyment of the event, I actually said to Adric that I actually did not enjoy myself this year.
Wow. Any particular reason?
I think it's the first. I'm getting to it. No, I'm joking. Comment. Nah, I think it's the first tournament, like ever since maybe like after Southeast Asia majors that I haven't enjoyed. One, Adric already covered. DBZ was just a blow up. One, I was very vocal about it. The allowing of GT Goku to be in the tournament. But past that, whatever, that happened. But also just, we went right back to being anime game, which is like, early pools, you're off to the side, your stream setups, one dude with a laptop.
Anime games for the past couple of years have done really well. They're just shoved off to the side, but they're still, like, the setups have sound, and, like, the stream setup is nearby, not in the middle of the fucking convention center away from pool.
Yeah. And I think, like, that was a major detriment to my enjoyment. Mortal Kombat was my highlight of the tournament. I also wish I could have watched Tekken, but I couldn't be in MK and Tekken. That was by feedback like previous years, and they actually did it except for MK because it's R18, where they had the massive fucking wall. That was awesome. I liked that a lot. Having like Melee, Ultimate, Tekken, Street Fighter. Although it kind of sucked because Tekken just blew everything out of the water, so get fucked every other game.
Yeah, you can thank the Australian government for that wall, buddy.
What?
the R8
paying for the
yeah.
FGC.
The R18 rating.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, but so yeah, I don't know. It was just mixed with really long days. One major thing that I need to start doing in future tournaments is like taking better care of what I'm like eating and drinking throughout the day. Not having water at the venue, big blow up. Having to like run to the bathroom and get water from the fucking sink. Didn't like that at all. So they need to definitely improve that. Don't give us the Evo treatment, please. And apart from that, I don't know. Maybe it's just, yeah. Maybe all those things combined just made it not an enjoyable time. But I actually would have preferred being at home watching the stream more so than attending the tournament this year.
Wow, feels bad, man. FithAlucard, you want to weigh in? Did you catch it online at all, or too busy?
Me?
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of it. I thought the streams weren't too bad. MK at times got a bit like pixely and choppy. That's just Australian internet for you. But generally, though, I thought it was run pretty well as a stream. I was gonna say as well, Baxter, you didn't win anything this year, did you?
No.
Yeah, that's probably why I didn't enjoy it. Let's be honest. All you care about is those big W's.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I'm inclined to agree with Sam. Like, I'm pretty sure if he won, he wouldn't have cared about all that other minor stuff.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure he won here, but I love GT Goku.
You like GT Goku?
Yeah. Fuck, I love GT Goku. That was such a smart decision. Character in the tournament. No, I think my highlight by far was getting to commentate top 8 MK. So I commentated all of top 8 for MK with Panic Mode.
Yeah.
That was good commentary.
That was good. There was a lot of good feedback.
We actually like worked really well together, and I don't know if you knew or didn't know, back in the day, back in Injustice days, me and Adric kind of shat on all of the NRX community for valid reasons. So, you know, it's not our fault, I guess. But one of the big people that, like, you know, I used to talk trash about was Josh, or Panic Mode. So I don't know, it was kind of cool to commentate with him and take a step away from the game, or like playing him and just being like a co-commentator with him, which I really enjoyed, and he did a really good job. So yeah, shout outs to him.
Nice. I'm gonna just weigh in because Falco asked me. I don't know, it's like my enjoyment levels of BAM are like kind of different because like I'm on the running side. I just want it all to run as smooth as possible. Like as long as I can see that being done, then yeah, I'm having a good time. I don't really get to enjoy it as much per se, but I think.
So from your perspective, did it run well? Everything behind the scenes?
Well, I was the head tier for Tekken, and that was most of what I had on my plate. And for the most part, I think it ran pretty smooth. Some of the other games, like, I can sympathize with them. You know, Dragon Balls. I guess your grievances are like justified to some degree. I haven't looked into all of them. Street Fighter, but yeah.
Wait, what do you mean by some degree?
Well, I haven't played GT Goku, so I don't know how fucked up is he. I'm just taking it.
No. I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the like sound on the full setups and things like that.
Oh no, that I can relate to. Look, I know.
It happens. And
just as a side note, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't one of the setups for pools not updated or something, or it had a weird update, or?
I wouldn't know.
No, that was CWC.
That was CWC, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because I just had my hands full with Tekken. As far as setting up goes, I don't know if I should be admitting this on stream. Street Fighter had a rough start, and I tried to help where I could, but yeah, yeah. There's always improvements. You know, we can just try better for next time. Yeah, but overall, my enjoying levels for BAM were pretty good.
I heard Tekken was run pretty well, to be honest.
Of course, I was running it. Shout outs to all the people that helped. Literally couldn't have done it without them. Shout outs to Powerful Dread Tech helping out with Dragon Balls as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Dread did a good job with Dragon Ball.
Speaking of Dragon Ball,
A
like
lot of people.
I just like what are your thoughts currently on where the game is at?
Patrick, you can take it.
GT Goku's there's two things. This GT Goku's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big problem. And the other thing is that they took so long to announce the tour, and they still really haven't. So a lot of the, like, I guess you'd say general interest has waned so much compared to, like, people who are still really into it are still really into it, but, you know, the average player doesn't have, like, the tour is what keeps a lot of people interested in things.
Yeah.
Goes for a lot of games. So for them to basically make an announcement that CEO is the first stop in the tour, okay, what's the rest of the tour? Like, that doesn't help, really.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is specific to Australia or like everywhere?
I think that's everywhere.
Mm.
I mean, other places have bigger player populations, but I think it's everywhere. But
I agree.
And yeah, the other problem is, yeah, GT Goku is really dumb. Think like, you know how last year for EVO, every, like, 6 or 7 of the 8 teams in top 8 had Bardock on them?
Yeah.
That's kind of how good GT Goku is.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna lie, every time I've played ranked at the moment, no matter what or who I verse, they've always got a GT Goku on their team now. Like, every single online match, I've always seen him on the enemy team.
Yeah, I tune into
Without fail.
a few tournaments here and there, a few locals, and 95% of the time he's on the team. And I guess I don't feel it. I don't feel that Bardock treatment is as bad because he's new, but I guess, you know, give it time and it'll just be like, okay, this is.
In some ways, he's worse than Bardock.
Ooh,
I think he's the most broken character so far in the game.
really?
Like, his size changes things. Not so much combos, those usually work the same, but, like, there'll just be times where he'll auto combo under whatever you're trying to hit him with. And his auto combo is one of those ones that catches backdashes and reflects. He has the best level 3 Oki in the game. He has anti-beams in the air. He has level 3s and level 1 answers to super dash. He has a Piccolo level 0. He has everything. That's all you need to know. He has everything.
Okay.
And he also has the best assist in the game.
Yeah. He has everything.
Yeah.
So the assist, the reason why it's so dumb, right, is because people, like, what people didn't really understand about, like, my complaints originally was not so much people playing GT Goku on point and me just being, like, mixed up by bullshit, which definitely happened, but, you know, that wasn't my main concern. My main concern was just before the tournament, I watched, like, Fenrich versus Goichi, and Goichi called beam assist. He was playing Bardock on point with GT Goku assist. Called GT Goku assist. Fenrich up back, right, on reaction, because that's what you normally do to a beam, right? Like, you're versing SSJ Goku, you see the beam assist, you jump out of the range, right? He up backed into GT Goku assist. Goichi ran full screen and fuzzied Fenrich when he hit the floor by blocking the assist. Nothing else. There was no setup at all except for you blocking an assist in the air and you get fuzzied.
Yeah.
That alone, I was like, this assist is by far the best in the game. Not to mention it, if you think about the way that the game is played, ground movement is one of people's biggest complaints, right? And a lot of that's what was a big deterrent for a lot of Marvel players. They went from plink dashing in Marvel 3 to very two-dimensional movement on the ground and very like sluggish movement. So a lot of the game is played in the air. Now you have an anti-air beam assist that beats most characters air neutral, which is usually key blast spam, and because it's a beam, it just innately beats it, right? There is no direct counter except for getting above the assist, which is almost impossible, and then you're forced to come back down. So if you're playing a team which is like Bardock, GT Goku, Yamcha, for instance, I call my GT Goku beam, you jump above it, as soon as you come back down, I'm going to call Yamcha assist, and you have to eat pressure. There is nothing you can do to avoid it. So it's very polarizing the way the assist works.
The other thing is I'm not a big fan of the meter gain change after you spend. It really hurt a lot of the game in terms of like combos and things like that. So for those of you who don't know, after you spend meter in Dragon Ball now, there's a brief period where you gain barely any meter,
yeah,
afterwards. And it changes a fair bit about a lot of characters.
When did that come out?
It's like February. There was like a big 2.0 patch.
Yeah, it was the big patch.
Was it before or after Videl?
It was.
I think it was after.
Just after Videl.
Yeah, just after.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is that it's one of those things where like there's like a bunch of characters that are fine, and the game still plays really great. And if you don't play GT Goku, it's still good. But the potential with that character is so nutty. Like, you're doing yourself a disservice
by not playing him. Yeah, it's one of those situations.
It's not like, like that style doesn't quite suit me, so I'll do this. It's really just you're doing it wrong if you're not playing him.
Wow. Marty Ken's got a question in the chat. Do you guys think assists should be more punishable like Marvel or stay the same?
I have no problem with how punishable assists are, because if you know your combo routes, you can like kill the assist instantly.
There's one big reason as to why I think they should stay the same, and it's because if you think about Marvel 3, the reason why they stayed on screen so long is because the off-screen cooldown time was so short. It is the inverse in this game. So their on-screen time is quite short, but their off-screen time and cooldown is quite large. So if you were to affect their on-screen time, it would severely limit neutral in the game. So I think it should stay the same. It should just... Originally, people, one of the first mentions people made about the game was having multiple assists per character, right? Where you could like choose it, similar to Marvel, where you have 3 different assist types, right? And then people are saying the Skullgirls assist type, where you can actually input the move.
And then you get to decide using everything.
I now think that is a good decision to implement into the game. Originally, I did not think so. However, with the game's balance and them, the way that Arxis is balancing the game, trying to make every single character in the game a point character, now there's like, why would I play Goku Black over SSJ Goku, for instance? There is no possible reason I should ever do that. Maybe like one team composition, right? Apart from he's easier, right? And that's it. So now, having that customization, I think it would actually open up the game a hell of a lot more. That's what I'd like to see in like their next season, if the game sticks around that long. I don't know how the game's going to fare, to be honest.
That depends how this season goes, and if they, which is very possible, is if they introduce like a Rev 2 scenario for the game. Like Guilty Gear, just basically a giant update. It's basically an expansion pack rather than an update.
Yeah, I think we need the arcade edition of DBZ, and I think we need it fast, because I picture Evo this year being probably... It's going to be, if anyone can remember, there was one year of King of Fighters 13, top 8, and it was the year after where Reynolds made the insane... No, sorry.
It was after that year. It was him versus Lee Sun Woo or something like that, and then...
Yeah.
Where he made the...
Yeah, the following year it was like on the Saturday, and it was just all Iori Karate Kim. Like every match was that. It was so
Yeah, 7
bad
of
to
the
watch.
8 players played Iori Karate Kim. The 8th player being Takedo. Take out Kim and put Chin, and that's it.
Yep.
So there was 4 characters in top 8 played in a versus game. It was fucking awful.
Yeah, it basically killed the game. It was
Yeah.
that bad.
And like the worst thing was that's not how the game actually like was, but the interpretation and the perception of that game because of that top 8 just killed people's drive to play it. So like if you were new to picking up the game, you'd be like, why would I play this game? Why would I just want to play against Karate Iori Kim every single time?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say as well, a lot of the top players from memory didn't attend Evo that year for KOF, right? Like,
Well,
I'm pretty
what's
sure.
his name from Mexico was banned. A lot of others were
Not
still
Bala.
there.
Banned?
Yeah, Bala was banned from America.
Oh.
Yeah, he got deported.
Yeah, he actually did.
Yeah, he stayed in America too long because he wanted to play more King of Fighters.
Jesus.
And overstayed his welcome, and then he got
Holy-
deported, and then banned from America for 5 years.
Good lord.
Yeah, but yeah, from memory, I thought a lot of the top KOF players that year didn't actually go to BAM. I mean, not BAM, to Evo.
Jauheim, Violent Kane, Mysterio. You had like a bunch of the top players.
Yeah, yeah, some big names.
I just think it wasn't all of them. And then you had the KOF like tournament circuit, which nobody outside of like real diehard KOF people even knew about.
That was depressing.
Yeah,
It's good to watch, but it was depressing.
it was great. It's just it's just didn't exist to anyone who wasn't already so involved in the scene. So
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back
Finish-
to my
finish.
original point. Sorry, my
Yeah.
original point was
Marvel assists in
how
and
bad
DB.
how bad the King of Fighters 13 top 8 was that year. That's how bad I think DBZ top 8 will be this year at Evo. And I picture the game dropping numbers like flies, and it becoming like a B grade title again. Well, not again, but like a B grade title like other anime titles are.
Honestly, looking from an outsider perspective, because I haven't attended a tournament in a very long time, watching the numbers for that game, it just seems to dwindle like crazy. Like,
well, one of the things about that though is the game is a versus game, and those inherently lean towards more of a spectator like type of player base. Because I mean, Marvel is a good example in Australia. People love Marvel. I mean,
nobody
people love
wanted to
Dragon
play it
Ball.
though.
But yeah, most people don't want to play it.
Yeah,
And then most people who do play it, it's like a side game. It's not their main game. So then you have even less people who are like top end competitors in the game. I don't know. I think DBZ is in the same category as Marvel in that regard. Because people play it because they're like, oh cool, it's Dragon Ball. And the game, I mean, say what you will about the game as far as gameplay is concerned, it's arguably the best looking fighting game of all time. And still people just don't want to get into that versus type of game.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. A lot of people get scared off by versus. Getting hit by mix-ups on mix-ups on mix-ups and endless pressure is quite disheartening.
It's that combined with the lack of World Tour announcement and like the two Evos coming up are possibly the worst showcases of the game. The previous Evo was a bad showcase because it was, besides the Goichi Sonic Fox rivalry, it was just his Bardock. Literally, people were counting how many level 3s that character was doing. And then this year, it's a distinct possibility that every team is going to have SSJ Goku. Every team might have GT Goku. I mean,
Sounds
the
like
exception being like Kazunoko, who that's basic. So I don't know. Yeah, it's in a weird state where it could lose a lot of its player base, like more casual player base for sure.
It's interesting because like I agree with you, but you know, it's a very fun spectator game. I still find it hella fun to play. I don't know about you guys. I don't know how you rate it. on the fun scale as far as all the other games you play. I'd say I have more fun playing that game than most. It's just getting to when you get to that high level.
There's still so much fun to be had with it. It's just when you're versing that like top end Bardock GT Goku player who's like, nobody in Australia is really doing it yet. But just because people aren't doing it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Then it exists, yeah.
Like, if people were really on the point, like my team that I play for them is non-existent because 2 of them can be fuzzied by Bardock merely from blocking an assist. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, you should just not play that team at all. So, I mean, at the moment, for example, I have heaps of fun playing Beerus, and he's heaps of fun, but is by no means on that like top end level of character play.
Yeah. Obviously, it all depends if we're talking about playing casually or playing for tournament, but yeah.
But, I mean, the thing is, right, is like I said, the game still looks amazing, and, like, it's just fun to do stuff.
Yeah, it is. Because, honestly, out of every fighting game that's out there at the moment, like, MK11... Well, actually, Dragon Ball and Tekken 7 are probably on the same line for me at the moment. But, like, games like MK and Street Fighter 5... Nothing's really dragging me into them at the moment, especially with MK. I thought I'd have a lot more fun with it than I am.
What do you guys enjoy watching most at the moment?
Dragon Ball.
It probably is Dragon Ball. Yeah.
There are I don't know.
There are moments where I like watching Tekken a lot, but then yeah, DBFZ overall.
At top level, Tekken by far. I think Tekken 7, just the introduction of slow-mo, how rage arts operate, and rage comebacks, and the insane fucking combo potential the characters have, like Geese, if you ever watch fucking Daniel's combo videos, where he just does
watching his videos
here's
today,
a touch of death. Yeah, and it's like a touch of death off nothing, and it's like, that's awesome, right? All of that, like, just generates an amazing amount of hype. And it's got the same kind of recipe as Marvel 3, where it's just like, oh shit, he can make a comeback at any point, right? And I think that's why Tekken has blown up so much with Tekken 7, because they've got that, they've nailed the comeback mechanic part of the game. And as well as the slow-mo thing is just, here's a fucking Twitch clip and a half, like, high fight, go nuts, right? Like, eat your heart out, because, yeah, they've just absolutely nailed the recipe for hype and spectator viewership. So Tekken, for me, high level, for sure. Then it would be probably Killer Instinct. I have a lot of fun watching.
Yeah.
But it has to be, like, top level play. I can't watch Spurgs play it, which is...
Do they still... Is it still played?
Yeah, it depends on the major.
European.
Like, it's a big thing at Combo Breaker, yeah.
Combo Breaker had every game under the sun, though.
And I can't remember the dude's name. I think it is Wheels. I think, or something like that. I can't remember the dude's name, but he's got a disability, right?
Yeah.
Similar to like Golly Legs, but he has some mobility within his hands, and he plays Killer Instinct, and he's a top player.
Yeah.
And he's a fucking baller. And he plays a character who summons minions and flies around, and I'm like, that is gangster. Like, I like this dude a lot. But yeah, Killer Instinct I have a lot of fun with. And then it's like DBZ and MK. I actually like watching MK a lot at the moment. But I don't know if that will stick around or if it's just like the new thing. But yeah, we'll see.
MK's upsetting me quite a lot. I keep playing online, all I'm coming across a Scorpion. I know I haven't put enough time to I know I haven't put enough time into the game to like know if it is counterable or something, but it's just such anti-fun mechanics with that character.
Sure is. If you watch how Waz plays Scorpion, it's the most boring shit you could ever see in your life. This man just up back, does teleport, goes full screen, chucks the spear 26 times in the round, and then he does, oh, you did a projectile? I'm gonna EX teleport now, haha, got ya.
Considering watching his Jade at BAM, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
No, wasn't known for playing very lame. The reason I asked because well, your fun factor is just like I don't know, current landscape of FGC fighting games, there's a lot to play, but whether every current fighting game is the best it could be or like in a good state in of itself is another question.
I don't know. I'm kind of. I think at a certain point there's too many fighting games because it just spreads everything out so much. But yeah, you do have so much to choose from. But one thing, most people only really pay attention to games that have tours of some kind, which is sad but true. That's why, I mean, Eunice being in Evo is so great because it's such a small, it's a little game that could.
Even though you say there's a lot of games, I was like, yeah, I completely agree with Falco, where it's like, if I think of the fighting games that are like the fighting games at the moment, it's literally just Dragon Ball, MK, Street Fighter 5, and Tekken. Those are the only games that I could think of. Like, I know Virtual Fighter, Eunice, BlazBlue all exist, but I never really think of them when it first comes to mind.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like when you think of your major games, like on a Sunday top 8, they are like, I don't know, 20% of what's out right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because
we're spoiled for choice, but nobody chooses it.
I mean, yeah, you got like BlazBlue Guilty Gear, BlazBlue Cross Tag, which like really went under the radar. You have KOF, which is like non-existent in Australia. There's so many things, but yeah.
But Adric, BlazBlue Cross Tag was an Evo lineup game. Didn't you see the stickers?
I mean, that's actually smart to advertise it like that.
Because I'm just like wondering, outside of your major games like your Street Fighter, your Tekken, your Mortal Kombat, like we do have a lot of choice, but what has it got to take to get those games, like if it's at all possible, like, you know, on the same level?
Money?
A tour. Yeah.
A tour.
I mean, it's
100% it.
It's crazy how important having a tour for your game is.
Like,
nowadays.
look at DOA, for instance. DOA 6 had an insane amount of viewership at Type A Major. Like, absurd amount of viewers. And the only reason why is part of that World Championship shit they got going on.
Because, like, on a local level, yeah, you can build up a game as much as you want. Like, what's his name in Sydney for Virtual Fighter? Like, you know, you got a whole bunch of people playing. It just doesn't translate to, you know, you'd go to BAM or whatever or go overseas. There's not suddenly going to be a whole bunch of people playing Virtual Fighter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Things just need tours nowadays if they want to be big.
Tours and money. That's it.
Yeah, seems to be the way. I mean, just being at a major in of itself doesn't seem to be enough. Because, there were a few games that were big, put on the big screen. Like I want to use Soul Calibur as an example. Soul Calibur was pretty big, a combo breaker. But, you know, outside of the big American majors, maybe... It doesn't have a tour, does it?
No.
Yeah.
I think the reason why, though, is Soul Calibur is a very American game. It's very, how do I put this? I don't know, it's in that realm of, like... There's this one player, I can't remember the name of him, but I watched him one time when the game first came out, and he was playing that character Asweel.
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 As we all.
As we all know. Anyway, that guy was terrible. He was fucking awful, right? And I was like, oh my god, like he literally did like the same thing. He did like the same 3 strings / moves every round against every person and won. And I was like, what is going on? Then the weekend after, he went to a major and won it. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, what? How did he win? And it wasn't like, oh, maybe I'm missing something. It was legit like, no, he should not be winning. And then I watched someone like, if you guys know Shen Chan from Singapore.
Yeah.
He's a beast. He makes really smart decisions. and then I see him lose to idiots, and I don't understand why. So I think that game is very, actually, you know what it's like? JDCR, how he said that Tekken Tag Tournament 2, it was good, but also bad because anyone could beat anyone. That's what it's like for me. And that's why I think America has a large population who play it, because, you know, if I make the right decisions on the day, I could beat anyone. And then vice versa, if anyone else made the right decisions, they could beat me in the game. So I don't think it's a very consistent title, which is why I think America has such a large player basis.
Yeah, but when you're saying if someone makes the right decisions, doesn't that, you know, kind of lead into no matter what game you play?
It's a bit more guesswork than...
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense, but...
reactions, you know, because if you think about fighting games, it's a mix of a lot of different things. Reactions, a lot of it's educated decisions, so it's like, you know, based off the frame data, based off the player's tendencies, based off the matchup, I'm going to do X instead of Y here. Whereas in Soul Calibur, I feel it's a lot more like, why not do X?
Yeah, well,
I get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. I don't tune in. I know I want to agree with you, but at the same time, like I tune into Soul Calibur to a certain degree, and I'm sure people know of what's the dude's name? Lincoln. Lixol. Dude, that every time that guy enters a tournament, I see him winning. So I don't know. I think. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe, you know, maybe it's just me being jaded. I don't know.
But yeah, I know how we.
What were we talking about again?
small games being popular.
Oh yeah, it needs a tour.
That's it.
I think it's that, but it's look
What
at.
do you think it is then?
The tour is two things. It's like a reason for competitors to like stick in the game and win money and prizes. It's for them as well, right? But it's also usually a promise of continued released content.
For me, I feel like not only that, but obviously most tours will be international. Like it'll go from not just America and Europe, but like it'll get some Asia in there and stuff. It's a good way to showcase all the top players. So when you are seeing these different things, maybe the game wasn't interesting to you at first when, like, so for example, if I was an American player and I was watching Tekken, for example, I might have found the game the most boring game in the world. But then if I watch Koreans play, they've got so many more things inside of there where I'll be like, oh damn, this is the most hype action game ever now, I want to play it. So I think as well, it's just the amount of exposure that the game can get and bring is what drags the players in and things like that.
Yeah, and then from the other perspective as well, like, on the back of what Adric said, with the continued release of DLC or content, as well as like a striving goal towards the finish line, which is like the World Series final, it also gives reason for esports organizations or sponsors to get involved, because they know that there is a promise of continuation. Whereas if your game doesn't have those types of circuits set up, it's like, what's to say that your game's going to be at EVO? Why would we sponsor you over someone who plays Street Fighter?
I think like part of another factor is I don't know, the developers like philosophy regarding the game. I mean, like Capcom Street Fighter 5, I feel like they made the game for like the actual pro gamers. Whereas like with NetherRealm, you've got like obviously their focus is with the top players as well, but they're heavily invested within their casual scene as well. You know,
they've done a really good split. I said this to Adric and Waz earlier. I actually personally think MK11 is a better fighting game than Street Fighter 5.
I wouldn't disagree with you there.
Overall, I definitely think it's gonna it's better. The alone, right? If you just look at Street Fighter 5's release versus Mortal Kombat 11's release, hands down, there is no one in the world that could ever argue that MK11's release was not amazing compared to SF5.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they've already announced DLC. They've already bringing out their new characters. They've already given us one event as part of the pro competition. There's the Combat League. Yes, they pushed it out and they delayed it, which is annoying because there's still not been any coverage for that. But again, it's like an untold promise of there is going to be this Combat League thing which must revolve around the online scene. Then you have the fucking netcode of gods for Mortal Kombat. Like, oh my god, it is amazing.
The netcode is really good, don't get me wrong. But when it's bad, it's so much worse than any other game.
Who
Like,
gives
if
a
you
fuck?
play-
You can actually play it. Like, dude,
Yeah, but-
who is trying to play Dragon Ball with 5 frames of lag? Oh yeah, just out Footsie's Bardock Lariat, please.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not
hit me before I
disagreeing with
agree.
you. I'm not disagreeing with you. When the MK11 netcode works, it's the best thing in the universe. It is the fundamentally best netcode that we've gotten so far. But when it's bad, it just goes to shit. Like, I'd prefer to play mediocre Dragon Ball internet compared to mediocre MK internet. Continue your point though.
Play devil's advocate though for Street Fighter. This is like, I mean, not its release, but for this year anyway. It's basically the year it's winding down to make way for whatever the next Street Fighter is.
God, I hope it's the Shrek thing.
Yeah, I hope it's the Shrek thing too. That's like, oh man.
Here comes your favorites, Shrek,
Have you guys,
Sonic.
So if you guys didn't know, there's a leak for a whole bunch of Street Fighter 6, which is apparently called Street Fighter Connect, and it's like a 3,000 word essay about upcoming Street Fighter. And partway down the page, it's like, we're taking more input from Capcom USA, who've suggested more memeable characters, such as Shrek. It lists like a few others as well.
It can't be real.
That was the part where I'm like, this is not. Like, there is no way. Because the other ones are all kind of plausible, and it's like, yeah, okay, I could like
Can
see
you
a
just
direction.
Hey man, all I gotta say is Tekken has Negan.
I was just about to say the exact same thing.
Oh,
Okay, wait. Okay, this is the thing, and Yusuf actually said it on the I Don't Even podcast last night with Gamera. Shout out to those guys. But yeah, bit off topic, not really, a little bit, but I saw a tweet from Nee this week, where he was like asking, when is Harada going to announce Tekken 8? Didn't give an explanation as to why, he's bringing up Tekken 8. A lot of people love Tekken 7. They think it's an amazing game. People, basically swear by it. It's blown up the scene, like, drastically, right? So it's quite interesting to see, like, Nee, the god, if not one of the gods, of Tekken, kind of wanting the next game. Whether it be because he thinks the game's bad, whatever the case may be, right? Just interested, he wants the new iteration of Tekken already.
I can give you a reason as to why, but yeah, keep going.
But the funny thing was, I was like, oh, what's your thoughts, Yusuf? And he goes, oh, like, I'm really scared. And I 100% agree with him, right? Imagine going from Tekken 7 FR to Tekken 8 with Shrek. Like, can you imagine? Like, holy shit, the community, like, would just blow up. And the thing is that people are like, oh, that would never happen. Let me remind you guys of how loved Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was.
Mm-hmm.
And the next game that came out was infinitely worse, pun intended. And we've been hurt before, not to mention games like Diablo 2 to Diablo 3. So it's definitely happened before, so it could definitely happen again with, like, Tekken 7 FR going into Tekken 8. So I'm actually, like, I'm there with him where I don't want Tekken 7 to die yet. I think the game has a lot more left to give. I think that another season would do it really well with new DLC characters. Whereas on the inverse, Street Fighter 5 can fucking die and I'm sick of it.
Yeah. I think, let me just quickly chime in. I think one of the reasons, I don't know if you guys caught that interview that Harada had at E3. I think one of the roundup questions were like, what's next? What's the next game coming out? It's E3, so people want to know what's next. But obviously Harada didn't leak anything. Like whenever they're ready, we're ready. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why Nee chimed in. I think also Nee has been playing Tekken 7 in general just like pretty much longer than anyone else.
True.
Because he's had the arcade version way before the console version. You got to remember that. I think they've had it in like
Kuma, then the FR, and then FR Season 2.
So it was great. So as great as his game may be, like it could just be his interest is starting to wane. Like I don't know.
You know what I think it is more so is we went from the Jack Dragonov meta to 2D meta to
it's the Jin Geese meta.
Jin Geese meta, right?
Jin Geese.
And I think he's just I think it's getting to the point, and I don't know if it will continue this way, because I'm seeing Tekken evolving into very similar to how KOF 13 was at the top level, right? In KOF 13, you could play any character in the game, and I shit you not, I mean any single character you could pick up, right?
Bar this Evo you guys were talking about?
Hey?
You just apart from the Evo you mentioned beforehand.
Yeah,
No,
well,
like,
exactly
even-
right.
No, but like, if
So
you...
my point is like any person in the world, like for instance, I went to Evo Japan last year, right?
Yeah.
And I went to a KOF meetup in Japan, and it was fucking awesome, by the way. It was absolutely amazing. I got to play KOF 13. It was sick. I versed people who played like Ash, like bottom 5 character in the game. People who played Ralph, bottom 5 character in the game. There was a Joe player. There was, and then there was obviously a mix of like your Karates, your Ioris, your Kims, right? You can play any character in that game, and you can get to the highest level, and you can beat anyone in the world. I think Tekken 7 is the same as that, right?
Yeah.
Until you go, here's $250,000. If you win this circuit and you get all the way up to the finals and you win that final, here's $250,000. Why the fuck would I play bears over geese, right? Like, what's the point? And I think that's what more so is the evolution of Tekken, and I think that more and more money, like, they got the $100,000, which is awesome, right? Like, definitely deserved. But I think now that there's more incentive, there's also more incentive for people to start utilizing those top tiers. And you see it within Japan, right? You're seeing a lot of Japanese players gravitate towards Geese and Jin. And I think that's why, because they've got that, that work ethic, that like, we're going to do our best and hardest to win this thing. And it's like just that kind of culture for them to, pick what's good, go really hard and try and win. And I think that might be another reason why Nee is probably like, maybe I want Tekken 8 because it might shake things up a bit. It's a new game, it might change the way people think, it might change the meta. But I actually think just with more money getting put into fighting games, it's just always going to be the thing now. Unless it's a severely balanced game where like the top 5, there's always going to be like the top 3, top 5 characters in every single fighting game. But then it's like, to go from top 5 to top 10, you could put like 50 characters in there. Unless the game's like that, it's going to be all top tiers.
Okay, I've got 2 things with that. Firstly, in Tekken Tag, was the character roster fairly balanced, or was it quite skewed?
It wasn't that bad, especially because the tag element. But there were some characters you had no business playing. Like it all came down to team composition. To be honest, it all came down to team composition.
Now, before tours and things like that happened in Tag 2, at top 8s, were the team compositions very similar?
No, because the roster in of itself is just massive, and then when you add in the team element, it's actually very varied from my memory.
Would you have like, for example, would you always like every team had to have a Jin or anything like that?
No.
Yeah, okay. So then, leading from that, do you think perhaps, leading on from what Baxter was saying, that the fact of tours and things like that, do they perhaps hinder character choice? Because similar to the KOF scenario and similar to the Tekken scenario at the moment, you only see these top players picking Geese and picking Jin, or picking Iori, Karate, yada yada yada, and that's all they want to pick because that's the ones that are winning.
I don't think Tekken is as bad as the other games. I think you know, it's a fact. Money is a factor for picking up good characters, but I personally think that Tekken doesn't suffer from that. Well, I need to pick this character or I can't win. Like he did mention beforehand, the roster, like balance wise, is very, very. Like you can pick anyone and do well to a certain degree. I mean, I wouldn't put it on the same tier as other games. I did for a moment.
Yeah.
But
Someone's hiding under Abby's bed. Giga's crying. Sorry, continue.
But honestly, as far as the most balanced game out, character wise, I think Tekken. I can't speak for 100% certain, but I think Tekken is up there.
Well, then,
yeah, it is. And I 100% agree, but I would 1000% also disagree by saying KOF 13 was probably the most balanced fighting game I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could, like, I'm not shitting you, you could literally play any character in the whole game and you could beat anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, there's always going to be bad matchups, but I, like, saw it with my eyes, like, fuck, we had, you know, for instance, Clark was assumed to be very, very, low tier, right? And then we saw Bala pick him in Evo Grand Finals against Madkoff. And that's insane. Like, imagine, you've got Knee versus JDCR, and then Knee's like, I'm going to go pick Lei. Like, and he's done that in the past, right?
Yeah.
He's picked Lily and shit like that for particular matchups. And that's awesome. That's what you want to see, is that insane amount of balance. But when you chuck $250,000 on the table and you go, all right, which character are you going to pick? I don't think Knee's going to go, I'm going to pick Lei, because I reckon he's going to be fun this matchup. He's probably going to pick Geese. He's probably going to pick Kazuya, Devil Jin, the characters that he's been gravitating towards now. Paul, you know, the consistent, strong characters that are actually going to win him the game.
Wait. So I'm just saying, just clarifying. KOF 13 was balanced until you got to the very high end level.
No, it was balanced even until then. The only
So what was the issue with that? What was the issue with that particular year of EVO?
It was that everyone played the same character.
Was that just by coincidence?
It was coincidence.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was coincidence.
Like,
so that's not a fair tell on KOF then.
No, it's not, and that's what I mean, right? And that's what I mean by, like, KOF 13 had no money involved. That's why it stayed that way. If there was $250,000, if KOF 13 re-released today, here's $1 million circuit, I can guarantee you that top 8 would be every tournament.
Yeah.
It would not be, there's an Ash, Joe, cooler player in top 8. Like, for instance, Mysterio was by far the best player in the world at the end of the game's life, and he played 2 out of 3 characters were not even classified in top 10. Like, his Athena literally OCV'd Xiao Hai like 3 times in the first of 10, and Athena was like maybe 15 to 20 in tiers versus Xiao Hai, and Xiao Hai's a fuckhead and picks the best character in the game. So, you already know Xiao Hai's team, so yeah.
So, going back on your logic then, for a game like Mortal Kombat, which is just released, do you believe that in every tournament, because it's got the backing and it's got the support and it's got a future ahead of it, do you think that every player is just going to be picking a small selection of characters, like Aaron Black, like Garrus, etc.?
Yes.
I think the majority will gravitate towards top tiers. Yeah.
I mean, I think every single top player has either Garrus, Scorpion, Sonya, or Aaron Black, or Jackie. Sorry, Jackie's the other one. And yes, I know that's 5.
Or just as a main.
Either.
Yeah.
And yes, I know that's 5 characters, and you might be going, but the roster's quite small. Yeah, but literally in the top 16, that's what you're going to be seeing, is those 5 characters throughout everywhere. And then you got the boy Waz playing Jade like an idiot.
So it's safe to say, pretty much across most fighting games today, the top players are all playing top tiers, yeah?
If there's money.
If there's money. I'm just trying to think of Goichi won Combo Breaker, and his team was GT Goku, Super Saiyan Goku,
Bardock.
and Bardock.
Yeah.
Um,
No, like the only one I can really think of, right, from Combo Breaker anyway, would be Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct doesn't have much money on the line anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that top 8 was super diverse. There was like Saberwolf, there was Falco, there was that flying character I forget the name of, there was Cinder, there was Glacius, there was a lot of characters played. Whereas I don't know, back in the day when they did have the whole circuit going, I remember seeing a lot of Saberwolves, a lot of Saberwolves at the start. So yeah, I think that's just how things go. And like, it's no fault of people, right? Like, if there was a good chance of me and Adric playing in like $1 million tournament, we'd probably do the same thing. We'd go, fuck this. Let's bring out the Bardock, GT Goku, SSJ Goku. Let's run rampant. So.
Can you back that up, Adric?
Adric.
No, I just wanted, because you said you commented on your team being like a fuzzy nightmare at BAM. But if $1 million was on the line at BAM, would you have changed up your team, or was it more so because like the competition weren't really, you weren't worried about that occurring?
Well, it's 3 reasons. One is that people in Australia don't really take advantage of fuzzies very often. 2, I am most comfortable with that team at the moment.
Yeah.
And like the thing about that team is that usually every character has really strong neutral, so it's more about I hit you, you don't hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I would probably change to a few characters if that was the case. Like, you just don't want fuzzyable characters for the most part. It's just such a detriment in the game. Why put yourself through it when you can pick something else?
Because you're messages like yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Just as a quick question, I don't know if anyone knows, but who are the top tiers in Smash Ultimate? Because I've got the Combo Breaker results up, and I'm trying to work out how many of the games do just have the same names popping up 24/7.
Dreadtech, you want to help us out? I know. If you're in the chat.
We're gonna run back on that in a bit.
Yeah, but like I'm sure we could all help you with Melee, but as far as Ultimate goes, yeah, I'm not.
I only know a few like Tweak and things like that.
There's that.
Dude, there's a hard game to balance.
Ultimate.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ, how many characters now?
It's like 70 something, right?
Yeah.
70, yeah.
My boy Banjo in it now, dude. I actually might just
that's
play.
Actually, that's actually too sick. I'm actually pretty. I'm alright with Banjo being put in.
It was a good
He's
reveal
been out of the
trailer.
game for a while.
I guess, I mean, yeah, the other thing about picking characters, though, is it is whatever makes you feel comfortable. But there's, like, a certain level where... I'm not saying if it's, like, if you're most comfortable playing it, you should still pick it, but there is, like, low tier enough that it doesn't matter how comfortable you are with the character. You're not going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tongue Season 1.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what you need to balance out. Because, for example, you might be an amazing grappler player. No, grapplers are top tier, but they still might be good enough. It's just going to be hard.
Yeah. And, like, the thing is we're talking about games that are very balanced because the game is quite, like, universal. Like, there's a lot of universal mechanics. So the reason why KOF was so balanced, every character had GC roll or guard cancel roll.
Mm-hmm.
Every character had CD counter. Everyone had jump CDs that on counter hit they got good combos from. Everyone had, one frame throws up close. So because there's a lot of universal, both defensive and offensive mechanics for characters, that helps balance everything, right? Same with Tekken. Movement is universal. Yes, there are other characters who do it better than others, of course, because there's fucking like people like Bears and then there's Lily, right? But at the same time, because you can sidestep certain strings or certain normals, because you can KBD out of the range, it helps again balance the game, or balance the tiers of the characters. Then you look at a fucking game like Street Fighter V, where that's not existent, and you realize how polarizing tiers can be, right? And that's why I've not been too familiar with this season yet, but Kuma's being played a lot. But especially with last season, season 3 being the Kami season, where there was just Kamis everywhere. And the reason why is, 1, because there's a lot of money in Street Fighter, right?
Yeah.
Because of the circuit. And 2, because the game doesn't have enough universal mechanics to help decrease the need to play top tier characters.
I was gonna, now that you mentioned it, I was watching a video yesterday, I think it was by Stumblebee, and he was discussing the lifespan of Street Fighter V and how it's gone. According to him, he said that the game has now gotten to a decent spot, but what decent's defined as is questionable.
Every season, without fail, people have come up to me and said, this next season's better than the last. And every time I go back to play it, I'm like, it's the same.
Still the same.
Adric, it's a public forum. You have to calm down about your Street Fighter.
Right.
Look, we can talk about this later, off call.
Right.
But you need to calm yourself down, alright? I don't want to get you heated. I can already see you. Literally changed colour. You went from pure white to pure red.
Holy shit, it's true.
Is the game still the same then?
Pretty much it's the same.
Dude,
Like,
I want to hear him vent. I want to hear him vent.
It's basically that the inherent mechanics are still the same. It's just the tiers have changed each season. So, like every time the tiers change, like who is winning tournaments changes drastically in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't see that so much in in other games like Dragon Ball or Tekken, because like Baxter was just saying, the mechanics are so universal. So when tiers change, who's winning changes. Like, yeah, the players are still really good and they place well, but like a good example is Infiltration at the start of the season with Nash. Like nobody knew how to deal with it. That character was just running amok. Nerfed.
Now he beats his wife.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And, like he gets like character gets nerfed, there goes Infiltration for a while. Suddenly Knuckle-Doo's winning everything. Guile got changed, well, here's someone else winning now. Like Punk, I believe, was after that. And then he like has a character crisis, he's picking Chun-Li. Now we're in this season and he's winning again. Yeah, it's just so polarizing, and the inherent game is still the same.
Like, yeah, but Adric, there's a lot of footsies in that game, and that's what's really good about it, is the strong neutral of Street Fighter V.
Ever since they made it 5 frames of lag, they've really opened it up, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Explain neutral, go on. Everyone wants you to vent, apparently. So, explain neutral.
Well, neutral is just... It's like, usually, there are some matchups which are fine, and you play normally, but then in other matchups, it's just like, slowly moving forward, whiffing a button constantly, and let's say you even do whiff punish the button. Only certain characters can actually confirm into anything off this. So, you have a character like, let's take, Karen versus, I don't know, let's say Chun. If you don't have a bar with Chun, you cannot confirm into anything except for, like, unless you are stationary. So Karen just walks forward whiffing buttons in your face, and you don't really get to do anything about it except for, like, poke away at the character. But Karen hits you, suddenly you're pushed towards the corner, she gets Oki. You could lose the game off of that just due to how the game works. And... like, that's the case with most of the casts. You just walk forward, like, yeah, whiffing this one button, like, trying to confirm into something. Some characters can actually confirm, like Karen or Cammy. Then you have other characters which are just like, I'm fucking hitting this one button into this, like, special move. and it's the Simpsons meme of if you walk into this, it's your own fault, and then eventually you do walk into it, and you lost the game off that. The flip side of that is you're like a character like Urian, right? You don't have those quite nice confirms. You're getting beaten by this Karen who's hitting you constantly. You manage to fend them off. Suddenly you do a full screen tackle into V trigger, and then you win the game off that. That's how the game works. That's not like, and Bison is another example. Like suddenly you have a V trigger. That character is just like, he has V trigger. It's time for me to randomly jump up and down. And then Bison's like, I'm the smart player. I'm gonna wait for you to randomly jump up and down. And then he sweeps you anyway. And then he could lose the game off that. And that's Street Fighter.
As you were explaining, all I was imagining was Urian in season 2 just doing the chop infinitely, waiting for his crush counter and then tackling.
Look, I tried to protect everyone. That's all I'm saying.
That was a good talk.
That was a good talk. Dude, I'm sure he feels great after venting.
Adric looks as red as...
me watching Street Fighter streams is me just talking about this constantly.
The funniest thing is...
And then basically we just start doing impressions of players.
So the funniest thing is the last stream we watched was Combo Breaker Top 8 for Street Fighter 5. It starts off with me going, oh, Punk's playing. Adric, do you want the link? He's like, yeah, alright, sure. So he tunes in and he's like, first 5 seconds of the game, it's like, I can't remember what happened, but I think like whoever he was versing at the time, Shine did like the like Ibuki's crouch medium punch, I think it is, the long range normal. And Punk tried to whiff punish with Sam medium punch, then got whiff punished because he missed the whiff punish because, you know, Street Fighter 5. And then he lost the match off that. Adric just goes, this game's so fucking shit. And then for the rest of the stream, we just did Punk impressions, and it was a fun time.
Yeah, there's a lot of I'm the alpha.
I'm the alpha. You know how it is. I'm about to beat this guy's ass.
He confirmed the crazy. I'm just, I'm the alpha. Funny. That's me watching Street Fighter now.
Check out the Street Fighter League. You're gonna see me be the alpha.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, everyone.
That's good.
You wanted that.
It's good. I like to think we make people feel slightly better on this podcast. I'm sure he feels good after venting.
Well, not if you like Street Fighter 5, you're not. Alright, let's change the pace. Go on, Abby, change the pace a little bit.
Alright, it was a random segue, but I can't remember who I was talking to about it. COF14. Someone, I guess you can chime in, Alucard, but whether that game died faster than like Marvel Infinite is debatable, but that we can talk about that on the same line of topics that, like, what has made the current line of games that we play like good or bad. Like what really happened with that?
With 14?
Yeah.
In Australia, it didn't gather a lot of attention. In Sydney, especially, a lot of the players hated how the tiers didn't feel as nice in comparison to 13. Where in 13 you could play every character. In 14 at the start, it really felt like you were limited to a lot of characters. And not only that, the way the meter mechanic worked. It's max mode in that game? Yeah, max mode. The way max mode worked was every single character would just fish for crouch Bs infinitely until they got their max mode cancel. And then that's when the game began. Rather than 13, which, to be fair, you're just HD fishing, which is kind of the same thing. But there was more neutral played to get to that spot, rather than in 14, where it was like, you've done one combo, you now have enough for a max mode cancel, and then you just fish for it infinitely until it came. Not only that, but the scene was already... It KOF 13 was pretty big at the end of the lifespan, I felt, in comparison to other games.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt 14, because of the shitty graphics and because of the everything that happened at the start, it didn't really gather enough people to try and give it a bit of a lifespan. Especially in Sydney, at least. I don't know. What do you guys think as well? Why do you think it died so quickly?
Well, it's the two reasons you said. It looks like a potato, and the top tiers are homogenized. That's it.
Yeah. It didn't really have a lot going for it, and then a few updates later.
I was gonna ask, did it receive any updates to try and fix it?
It did, but it doesn't matter.
No, it was dead on arrival. The updates gave the dead horse a fresh coat of paint. That was about it, really.
I would say it still has a very active scene in Asia, but
Yeah.
I mean, playing it here, you're gonna verse nobody except for like a few diehards, and I could list them on one hand.
Yeah, that's literally it. KOF will never die in Asia. Just move to Asia if you want to play KOF. Moral of the story, or Brazil if you want to play 98 and 2K2.
That's a shame.
Yes, I mean the thing is that they're really hurting their brand at the moment with their.
Hey, don't you say that, alright? Dating
with their focus, with their priority.
Yeah, you had a follow-up of SNK Heroines, which was, you know, weird.
The game of the year.
Then you had that followed up with, now has a dating sim, so... it's like called KOF for Girls or something, I think?
The King of Fighters for Girls, yeah.
Yep. So...
You know,
was that an E3 reveal?
I think it was.
Yeah,
holy hell.
It was. What I really want to know is like, from 14 to SNK Heroines, what must they have assumed their player base as? Like,
I think they just want to sell pachinko machines.
that's all they want to do. But if they just want to sell pachinko machines, then there's no point in releasing Heroines or the dating sim. Just make more goddamn pachinko machines, Like, after Heroin, honestly, they could have made KOF 15, and I still don't think it would have sold anywhere near as well.
I think they just gave the IP around to a whole bunch of different people and were like, go nuts. Do whatever you want.
Well, after this, the franchise is dead, I feel, in terms of fighting games.
You don't think they can redeem themselves?
No. It's no way is it dead. If they came back with a KOF 15, which is probably going to happen.
I would 1000% play it.
Yeah,
I'd play it, but...
All that needs to happen is they need to have an actual art direction. That's mainly it. They need to have an art direction of some kind.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how good your game is. Like, I know Baxter hates Infinite, but a lot of people, when that game came out, were like, but the mechanics are good.
I hear that.
It doesn't matter if your mechanics are good, if your game looks like trash. And it does. I mean,
you feel like the artistic value supersedes the gameplay?
Definitely does.
If you want to build any type of player base, yeah, because you're not looking for players like me, you, people who are like already so invested in the fighting scene. Because we'll play most things. You're looking for Joe Schmo who's like playing Fortnite and wants to play the new Dauntless game and is like, hey, that game looks like shit. I'm going to go back to my cartoon building blocks.
That's it. Yeah. Well, in that retrospect, KOF for Girls looks fantastic. I mean, like, look at the art style, the beauty, the romance.
I mean, jokes aside, it's just a visual novel and people aren't going to play it. So it's, I think Samurai Showdown, graphic-wise, is not very good, but it has a really good art direction, which is what KOF didn't have, nor did Marvel Infinite.
Are you talking about the latest one?
Samurai Showdown?
Yeah. I forgot the beta's out, so you've had a chance to play it. Yeah. Oh wow, you're not a fan?
Well, I love Samurai Showdown. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that if you go look at Street Fighter 4, which is what Samurai Showdown looks like, it basically looks like someone has had their first game in like the Unreal Engine, but found Photoshop and really likes ink. it has a really good art direction. Like it's gone for this, you know, feudal era Japan looking style of game.
Mm-hmm.
So it redeems it. Whereas COD 14 has like decent graphics. It's just nobody knew what it wanted to look like, so it looks like nothing. It looks bland.
I think there's a picture. I'll try and find it, but it's COD 14 Andy on a PS2 case, and it looks so perfectly fitting. We'll try and find it.
It was out around when the game came out. But there's a difference between it has good art direction is the difference, and that matters a lot for people that aren't us who are already heavily invested in fighting games.
Here you go. I put it in our little group chat, Al. If you can somehow get it up, Abby. I don't know if you have that power.
No, I'm sorry. I only have 2 monitors. My power's only limited. Sorry, I'm not tech savvy. If you want to link it in the stream chat, though.
In the chat, yeah. There you go.
Speaking of other current games that have been out but no one seems to be playing anymore, Baxter, Power Rangers.
I actually really enjoyed that game. The only thing that deterred me was the online was broken from the get-go. The only reason I actually got the game was because Reese was in town visiting me for a week, and we were just hanging out, and it just happened to drop like when he was here. So like, you know, we're just like, fuck it, brand new fighting game, let's just download it, right, and just button mash and have fun, right? And we did that, and we were having way too much fun, and then we found way too much broken shit in the game. So I was talking to Clockwork on Twitter.
Yeah.
And because he's one of the balancing, whatever they're called.
For the game, yeah.
And I was giving him like all this feedback and saying the game's really fun, but like, you know, you need to fix this ASAP, otherwise players aren't going to play it. And then it didn't get fixed ASAP, and then players stopped playing it, like myself. So, yeah,
so it was never like tournament viable on release, or?
No.
Okay, that's a shame.
There was I found a game-breaking glitch within the first day of playing. It was so if I got a happy birthday on you, and I snapped, like did Marvel 2 double snap, it soft locked the game.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's interesting.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what's weird? I'm like, Shady K and Clockwork game tested it. They are 2 Marvel 2 players. How did
I did not find
during
that
game testing? Like, that's absurd. Like, maybe what happened was when they were game testing originally, it never popped up. Like, they did it, no issues whatsoever. And then there was like a later patch or a later like iteration of the game that they didn't game test as much, so they didn't have the opportunity to do it. Maybe that's what happened, but yeah.
Maybe?
I don't know. It's super like, I usually hang a lot of shit on people who like did game testing.
Yep.
Namely because of how Injustice went and Injustice 2 and MKX and how there was like game testers for that and how bad the games were still. But it's also very difficult as a game tester because you don't know if it's the final product you're playing. So even the feedback that you give, like you're not gonna be contributing to the final result. So because you don't have the power to make decisions, you just give feedback, and then the devs obviously take that feedback and make the decisions themselves. So super difficult.
You think that should be a current thing for the today's fighting games? More.
I would love that. I would.
But the argument has always been. I mean, you brought up Injustice. Was it Injustice 2 that there were game testers?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like who just so happened to be pro
I
players.
remember that banned the testers.
Yeah.
Yeah, ban the testers. Yeah.
Like, wasn't there a similar instance with Marvel Infinite where Filipino champ had the game early and he like won the first 3 or 4 majors?
No, I 100%. So the guy Mishimastar, who's like done game testing for Tekken back in like I don't know if he did it for T7, but for Tekken Tag 2, Tekken 6, I know he did it for, and he wasn't allowed to enter tournaments. I would 1000% be down for that.
Really?
Yes, if Capcom contacted me for some reason, fucking, I don't know, some random coincidence. They're like, we want an Australian,
Yeah.
and they contact me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they tried to contact Arnold because he was the best, but couldn't get through to him. So they got second best, me. I would 1000% be like, I will never compete in this game if you allow me to contribute to.
I think that let's be generous. Put a time limit on it.
Nah, I would never compete. I would be like.
Depends if he's continually game testing.
Yeah, and it would have to be continual as well.
Yeah.
So like, based off how fighting games are currently working as well, like Adric was saying, if you want your fighting game to succeed, you have to have a circuit for it, which also brings into the discussion of seasons, right, or seasonal play.
Yeah.
So basically what people's expectations now are, and because of Street Fighter it's all happening, after each circuit concludes, there needs to be new content, possible balance changes, even at like slight balance tweaks, to kind of keep the game fresh. If that was the case, I would want to continually be a part of that balancing team.
Yeah.
So that I could help assist with, you know, DLC characters, so we don't have fucking GT Goku promoted. And then also with each season, right? I think the failure that people like Capcom don't have is that wealth of experience from like top players weigh in on the next season to say this is what worked really bad, and what they do is, rather than getting top players feedback, because that's what they're, you know, that's all balance is. It's only for competitors. They're not for casual people. Casual people don't give a fuck about balance.
Yeah, but then you run into the argument is 4 people enough, and if there's not 4, then get 40, and then there's bias and whatnot. So
that's the thing. It's that balance team, they cannot compete, so there is no bias.
Yeah,
right? Because for me, I wouldn't have any bias because I wouldn't be competing. I would be balancing the game purely to be like, I want this game to be 1, competitive as fuck, 2, low skill floor but high skill ceiling, right? So that like a lot of people can come in entry level but then work at that game really hard to get really good. And 3, I would want like very unique character traits as well, because I think that's one big thing that me and Adric have talked about a lot in the past, is like, now in fighting games there's no personality with characters anymore.
I think it depends on the game, but yeah.
Well, you've got your like age-old game or franchises, right? Like Street Fighter, Tekken, and of course there's personalities going to linger because they've been around for so long. But I mean, so for like more newer fighting games, they just kind of lose that element. So you don't really bond with that character, you don't have that connection with that character, so your loyalists fall off. Some people still might, but to a lesser degree. So that would also be one of the things I'd be looking at, is like, how can we make this character
very
for
unique?
Instance, my favorite character of all time is Hazama, right? And the reason why is because he's so unique as a character design that I loved him, because his mobility on the ground was awful. Like, he is one of the worst ground mobilities in the game, but because he has the chains, he also has the best mobility in the game at points, right? As long as you're good with your chains. He can zone, he can rush down, he's all over the shop, and that's what I liked playing Spencer in Marvel. So it was awesome to see this character like that. And I think that's what we need more of, is that kind of uniqueness about characters.
Just quickly on the game testing thing, Iceblade's made a good point where the World of Warcraft Blizzard people invited the top raiders to work on the payroll. So it's a really good incentive, and then they weren't allowed to do any of the competitive aspects of it. So it'd be like...
Oh yeah, I'd 100%. If it was not paid, get fucked. No way would I do it. For the love of the game? Come on, it's 2019. I ain't doing nothing unless I'm getting paid. Come on.
I assume, correct me if I'm wrong here, but don't most game testers just work for free or on like real crappy pay?
No, they get paid.
No.
They get paid.
Yeah.
They get paid.
Okay.
Game testers get paid.
There you go.
Chris G was talking about it because he's done all game testing for like NRS titles previously. He did it for MKX, Injustice 1 and Injustice 2. And yeah, he got paid for that. But he also aired his concerns, and I think Abby made a good point of it before, where it's like, how many people's enough, and then too many cooks in the kitchen, and people would go unheard, and you know, the louder people get their say, you know, the squeakiest wheel gets the grease kind of deal.
Yeah.
So you have to be quite
well, that's just making sure
it.
you hire the right people.
Yeah, I know, and it's down to the devs, right? It's down to the company. So if there was an opportunity for me to do that, and for future fighting games, I hope they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because one massive problem I had with NRS was how they balanced MKX, Injustice 1, Injustice 2, is public forum.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I didn't know it like
Please
that.
God, no.
I didn't know it like that.
I don't want fucking Mumslayer 69 saying, "Oh, Kano's broken because his Kano ball hits me." You know, it's like, no, like he's not a good character. Stop, like, you know, just voicing it because you're shit. Like, you need people who are.
Point though, like Kano ball.
He's a strong player, definitely. Yeah. Mumslayer 69. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Usually what I want to see from that type of stuff is when people release patch notes, I really want to know the thought process behind it.
I agree with that.
I'm not asking for an AMA or anything, because people are just going to be like, why'd you nerf my character, and go off with them. But I really want to hear like solid reasoning behind why things happen.
League of Legends does that, don't they? Whenever they patch, they always have little blurbs as to why or why not they change something.
Well, I mean, Street Fighter has had them before. It's just they're so vague.
And DBZ.
Dude, I was just about to bring up DBZ. Correct me if I'm wrong. They did that like really briefly, like, you know, we.
Yeah.
Like it's with it was the 16 and the Adol Gohan patch where they said we didn't like how set play was affecting the game, and it was becoming very monotonous with set play. So now we've affected characters who had like easy ways to go into set play, and then they did continual balance changes to back up that point of view with the level 3 nerfs and how Oki's been doing. And then Arxis did the Arxis thing where they go, oh, let's put Johnny into Guild Gear, oh, let's put GT Goku into DBZ, and then they fucked everything.
So yeah, I really don't like really vague patch notes. Like there's two examples. One is for Cammy, they're like, she needed more versatility.
I remember that.
That's basically all they said, and it was like, huh? The character's incredibly versatile. And another example is from Injustice 1, where they had a patch where they said, we've universally adjusted down 2s. And it was like, what does that mean?
And does that mean they got better? They got worse? Did they get larger hurt boxes, hit boxes?
Like,
they faster on startup?
Yeah. Why did you do this?
The worst thing was, I remember I was in Singapore at the time for Southeast Asia Major when the patch dropped, and I was playing with Archie-san and Ramus, two of the guys from Singapore. Shout out to them, they're fucking really cool dudes. But we were playing, and we were going through the patch notes with, like, together, and, like, you know, testing out different characters. And I was playing Green Lantern at the time.
Yeah.
I went into Green Lantern, and I was like, I always complained about its down 2 because it would never anti-air anything. I looked at the frame data, I looked at the hitbox, I looked at the hurt box, the move was identical. So I'm like, Universal doesn't fucking mean it! I was so mad.
Yeah, well, I mean, nowadays, I think NRS does more, like, it's just numbers patch notes, as I recall. But, yeah, vague patch notes like that, I really don't like. I want a better explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I would 100% agree with that.
I mean, like Baxter said with the DBZ thing, it gives you a good indication of, like, where the direction they want the game to go in, or, like, where they want a character to go in. Because, like, let's say they did something to Marduk, you'd want to know why, or, like, at least the direction they're going in with the character.
Yeah.
But if they were just like, we have universally adjusted the moveset of Marduk, you'd be like, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
We found Marduk not to be versatile enough, so we've given him a fireball.
Yeah, like imagine reading patch notes like, we've adjusted the versatility of, Marduk. You just feel like, I don't know what that means.
Nah, that's a great point.
Adjusted sidestep. Because you remember how, like, they did buff sidestepping in T7? And, like...
After it was horrible. Yeah. It was initially horrible, but then they fixed it to a degree.
Yeah, but they were very clear about it. Like, they told us the frame data of how sidesteps work, side walking and everything, and, like, for each character, like it was like broken down, like how effective it was. That's good because it's like, and I remember even I think Yusuf was telling me about it when it happened. How Harada like even admitted he was like movement was very sluggish in Tekken. A lot of complaints came through about the movement being sluggish and it's not being it didn't feel like Tekken basically because it was more two-dimensional than 3. So that's why they changed. And I was like, that's awesome. Like that's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
But that's also because Harada's a fucking god, and I wish that every other dev had a face like Harada, because
yeah, back in the
he
game.
does everything right.
I remember on release in arcades, Erks went to Japan and played it for a while, and he said it was the most trash game in the world, and he was never going to touch it again.
Yeah.
And then it got updated, and he was like, "Fuck Sam, you on this game yet, bro?" Calm down, Erks.
That's how big moving is to the
Colin
OGs.
was the same back in the day as well. He went to Japan with Erks on that trip, and he was playing in the arcades, and you know, like one thing is, you know, with Colin, because he's played so many different fighting games, and obviously KOF Tekken being his 2 strongest that he's played, it's like usually his feedback is very like valuable about why he doesn't like the new iteration of each game. Some of it's like, you know, he just wants it to be like the old version, but most of it generally is pretty good. So like when he was telling me, he's like, you can't sidestep Lars 1-2, and he's like, in Tekken 6 BR it tracked. Lars standing 1-2 tracked, right? In Tekken 7 they're like, we removed the tracking properties, but because sidestep was so bad, it's essentially they did nothing.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is awful. And he played Lars, so it wasn't like he was just bitching about the game.
Yeah,
he's
being objective.
He was just like being objective about the character that he played in the game, and he was saying that it really needed to change. Then they changed it, and now he plays it, and he loves the game. He still plays Lars, and he's an idiot for playing Lars because he's terrible. But he's like, he actually genuinely likes the game now. So yeah, they definitely did a very good job in making the game a fuck ton better from the arcade to the console version.
Yeah, Colin's always be good. He almost took out Dojin at BAM, so yeah.
Yeah, he almost beat Kudans as well at the BAM previously.
So yeah, shout outs to him. I got a question from the chat. Did any of you guys try Grand Blue?
No.
No one?
No.
One. Yeah.
So this is what happened with me. One of the Brisbane anime guys, Adam, had a bunch of codes, and he asked if anyone wanted one. So I was like, yeah, sure, like I'll give it a go. But before I downloaded it, I just turned on like a stream to watch what people were doing, and Sonic Fox was streaming.
Yeah.
I saw him play Fairy, and I'm like, wow, this is a perfect Sonic Fox character. Has fucked Oki, right? He's doing Oki things. He's doing Sonic Fox things. Then I went to Kazunoko's stream, and Kazunoco was playing Grand versus a Fairy. Then I went to Goichi's stream, and I watched a Fairy. Super Duper stream, and he was playing Fairy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to wait for the full game to be released, I think. Because I don't want to play the same character every time. Plus, my character, Festiva, who's the grappler, who I did not know was a grappler.
Is that the massive dude who I didn't realize was a dude?
Yeah, same. Exactly. I was like, I looked at the names of the characters, and I'm like, I'm going to play Festiva, because that sounds cool. And then... definitely not what I expected when I saw him. But he also wasn't in the beta, so I was like, alright, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, I don't know how the beta worked, and like if they had an actual practice mode. I'm not about trying to like figure out games on the fly. On the fly for what games I'm not invested in, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a lot of fairy talk. I heard a lot of people akin that game to like an anime version of Street Fighter. I don't know how valid that description is.
That's what I heard as well. I heard a lot of people say it feels a lot like Street Fighter 4, but anime.
From what I heard, like from international players, Japanese players as well, is the ground movement is so awful that you kind of want to jump more so than be on the ground, which is like, you know, classic air dash fighter, right? But
whereas you can't though in this game.
You can't air dash in this game, and anti-airs are apparently like really fucking strong, like insanely good. So it was just people not wanting to be on the ground, jumping a lot and getting anti-aired a bunch. So the whole Street Fighter thing, I think people were just saying that because it's slow. not so much like how Street Fighter actually plays. Whereas I think it's just a slow air dash fighter that is obviously in beta. So I really hope the game does really well, because the game looks nice. I like the artistic design of the game, but they definitely have to improve on what I saw from the beta.
Interesting. Yeah. I know when that's coming out. End of this year, next year, but.
I don't know, actually. I have no idea.
No idea.
Anyway, you said you had some non-fighting game related topics to bring up, Hubby. Go on. Hit us with it. Hit us with the goods. Can I bring up something first?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, so guys, just before we started the stream, I made fun of Adric because he doesn't make his bed. And then we pointed out that Abby's bed is made, and I said that he only does that for the podcast. And then I said, how fucking funny would it be? It's just halfway through the stream, some girl just gets out from underneath the covers, walks off, and Abby just tries to play it off like nothing happened. It would just be way too good.
Maybe one podcast.
What?
Maybe one podcast.
Damn. Alright, Abby. Alright. The bachelor life, I see how it is.
As far as non-fighting game content is concerned, I guess it wouldn't hurt. Did any of you guys tune into E3 at all?
I watched a bit. Yeah.
Anything you guys were particularly hyped for? Not hyped? Disappointed? Were you guys missing Sony's presence?
I'll tell you what I can't believe people were hyped for.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 being a battle royale.
That
people were clapping like, you guys morons, what are you doing? Like, you got handed a piece of trash and now you're clapping that they're giving you
Adric, I'll have you know that Shroud was playing that earlier on stream, and he was probably most definitely paid to play the game on stream and said the game was fun.
You know,
so
I don't
that
think
makes me
that's
want
ever
to play
happened before for Shroud. I don't think he's ever been paid to play another battle royale.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really funny. Keanu Reeves showing up was good fun. But I mean, you know, it was funny because after E3 happened, I was like, oh yeah, these like game announcements are fun, blah blah. And then someone told me there was a new Xbox announced, and I had not seen any news sources about that, but apparently there's a new Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, is that real?
Yeah.
Like the next gen, or just?
Yeah, next gen Xbox was announced, and it's like buried under
Keanu Reeves
and some Asian girl doing like some
saying
some,
so spooky.
Wow, I didn't know hear about that at all. I have to actually agree with
only
this.
found that out.
It was such a surprise.
I only found out that there was a new Xbox because it was exclusive to for Halo, and I was like, oh, it's exclusive to Xbox One. And someone was like, no, it's exclusive to the Xbox whatever it's called, and I was like, what?
What is it called?
It's either Xbox 2 or it's Xbox Phoenix, maybe? I don't know.
No, it's got some
Xbox Scarlet.
Scarlet, really?
Yeah. If I'm reading this right.
No, Abby. Scarlet is a Mortal Kombat character, but I can see where you got confused. Don't worry. Sorry.
I'm keen for Elden Ring and Ghostwire Tokyo. Should be good.
Someone told me to look into Elden Ring, and I watched the trailer, and I'm like, yeah, that trailer tells me absolutely nothing about the.
It's gonna be great. Did you ever see the trailer, the initial trailer for Sekiro?
I'm one of the few people who does not like Dark Souls or anything Dark Souls related, so I'm a weird person like that.
No, not weird. I've never played the Dark Souls, which is why Sekiro is giving me a fucking hard time.
Honestly, if you talk about trailers that have given you nothing, Adric, watch the E3 trailer, the original one for Sekiro. It tells you absolutely nothing about the game except that it's made from Software.
Well, Here's my favorite part of E3 nowadays. I was telling a friend about this the other day. It's when developers come onto the stage and then they say things like, gamers nowadays love choice. And then they'll announce something and then they'll say, we live in a new age of innovation. New IPs bring us great. And they'll just go on about stuff like that, and it's like, man, I'm so glad this guy's telling me how I should feel about
My game.
Yeah.
You missed a bit where they've got like a brand new car on the side of the stage while they're saying it.
Yeah, I think my biggest hatred of E3, and the reason why I don't watch anything like E3 is like it is so commercial. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Give me someone with some sense of personality on the stage, please, where I don't immediately hate my life for watching it. Like, it is so bad.
It's like, careful,
exactly
buddy.
How Adric said, like, you read a script, you put an American accent. All right, you've nailed it. Well done, Adric. You're presenting our new Xbox.
It's like you might influence the decision here on me buying a game depending on the way you announce this shit.
Well, it'd be pretty easy. You just feel like the Xbox Scarlet is going to revolutionize how we play games today. And you'd be like, that's a...
Do you guys like zombies? Do you guys like modern warfare? We've got the game for you. Check it out.
It's real bad. And yeah, the whole real disjointed segues is just real bad. It was just, yeah, mix of over commercialization and real bad presenters is just yikes. Anyway, back to what I'm hyped for is Borderlands 3. That game looks fucking dope, and I love Borderlands series, so I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I saw that.
Borderlands 1, I enjoyed it. Borderlands 2, that game they made in the middle, which was like a MOBA shooter, that went down the drain, so I'm expecting Borderlands 3 to go somewhere in the middle.
Honestly, someone who has a massive backlog, I was hoping for nothing. Just so I can finish all my other shit. But
You got nothing, right?
huh?
Yeah, did you see anything from E3?
Like I'm a Final Fantasy fan, and like I will give Final Fantasy 7 a go, but it's not my favorite. So
What is your favorite Final Fantasy?
6.
No, better question. Who's the
Thank
best
God.
girl, Abby?
It's clearly Yuna from 10. Clearly.
As long as it's not 9, I'm okay with it.
Alright, yeah,
I hate
it's
9.
it's 6.
Is 9 the one with Titus in it?
No, that's
the one
10.
where everyone has tails.
What?
No, 9. Actually, don't
Who's
mind
the-
9.
who's the
My
hero?
my order goes Final Fantasy 6, 10, 9, then 5. I hate 8. I can't stand 8. I know they're doing a remake, but I will not touch it. I don't care if there are better graphics. Yeah, I haven't played 7, so.
I think my favorite thing about Final Fantasy is never playing it. Because my favorite thing is listening to people all bitch and whine about like, your favorite 7? How can you like 7? I like 10. And then I heard that like in FF10 there's like some card game you have to play over and over again. I can't remember like what it's called or anything, but there's apparently some card game you have to play over and over
Apparently
again.
that card game's like the best game. It's like one of the best parts of the game though.
Apparently it's real shit. And
I've heard it's really good.
and all I hear is people go, 10 sucks, 7's the best, 6 sucks, 8's the best. And there's just people bitching about the other game, and I think it's just come down to whatever people say is their favorite, the other person's gonna say, that one sucks, I like this one more. Just for the sake of an argument.
But yeah, like nothing really stood out for me. Like I'm glad. Like I've always said, like if you like games in general, fighting games is one of the worst genres to be in because just grinding to be good will distract you from all the other games you could be playing. Like I still haven't finished God of War. Still haven't finished Breath of the Wild. But yeah.
Last game I played, single player game, keep in mind I've only played about 3 in my life.
Mm-hmm.
The last single player game I played was Kingdom Hearts 3 and I haven't finished that. And there's a big reason why I don't play single player games, and Kingdom Hearts 3 is one of them. That game was awful.
Were you telling me you enjoyed that Detroit Become Human thing?
Yeah, but that was just because I got to be so with Detroit Become Human, and it's not really a single player because I played it with Kim, so I don't really classify that because I didn't play it myself. But I guess it is a single player game. But the character, so how we were doing it is like, you know, there's different characters throughout the story, and you know, you get to make their choices for them basically, right? And it will change the progression of the story. And the character that, because we were taking turns, me and Kim, on like, you know, the next character is my character, the character after that's yours, so on and so forth, right? The character I got was this robot, and his opening line in the game is, "I will do anything to complete my mission." And I was like, fuck it, that's your story, let's do it. So throughout the whole story, like throughout the whole campaign, I'd cuck everyone. Literally anyone and everyone. My best friend in the game I killed. I murdered him just so I could complete my mission, which was making sure the robots won. It was sick. And I'm like, that is awesome. And that's why I like the game, because I got to play it exactly how I wanted, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I've never played that game. I heard the hype behind it. Were you guys... Oh, you go.
I was gonna ask, Adric, what was the last single player game you played? Was it Metro?
I'm currently playing this game called A Plague Tale: Innocence, and before that I played Metro, and before that I played Samurai X or whatever. No, Katana Zero.
And Catherine as well.
Oh yeah, I played Catherine too.
What's this, A Plague Tale in this?
Ooh, it's got good ratings.
It's like set during the bubonic plague, and I fast discovered that there's like, it's not just about the plague.
Holy shit, this actually looks nice, visual-wise. Yeah. Were you guys expecting any FTC content during E3 or not? No Marvel 4?
Nah.
I was not expecting anything FTC related.
I've accepted Marvel's dead. Even if there's a Marvel 4, I don't think I'll even play it.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
Would you accept being on the dev team
Oh,
to resurrect that game?
Yeah, I'd make the game fucking good. I wouldn't be releasing no piece of shit MVCI, that's for sure.
I can't wait for MVC4 to come out and Baxter being like, man, I'm fucking loving this game,
okay.
it's the shit.
Gentech is actually correct. My character got announced for Samurai Showdown. Rimuru, who is possibly the most annoying character in a fighting game I've ever seen. It's great.
Ruru, huh?
Dude, what Marvel was announced at E3? I didn't look into it.
Marvel Alliance.
Which is?
And Avengers. There's two Marvel games.
Man, I'm so done with the MCU. After Endgame, like, I'm out. I don't know. After seeing that movie, there were a lot of people gushy about it, and it's not a bad movie, it's good, but there was like two things I had an issue with. And then I was talking to people who really loved the movie.
I want to hear these issues. Like, it's fine. Let me just preface this rant with spoilers. Spoilers. Even though it's not really spoilers because the movie's been out for ages. Go ahead, Adric.
Okay. Here's the main one. It's that for what happens in the movie, there aren't enough consequences. Like, for what they show on screen, there is too much plot armor. The biggest example is when they go, Thanos finally comes through to the future. And he's in his big ship, and he doesn't just blow up the Avengers compound. He blows the ever-living shit out of it. Like, it is a wasteland afterwards.
It's basically like, it looks like a nuclear bomb going off.
And
like
you
that.
actually see the explosion hit Ant-Man, who is just a guy.
Yeah.
So, like, I can accept Thor living, he's the god of Thor. Like, I can even give Iron Man and War Machine a pass because they're in the suits, and like while they're in there, they're basically
What about Hawkeye?
invincible. No, but that's when you get to Hawkeye. Captain America and Ant-Man can all be dead. Like, it's not that. Like, if they'd written it in such a way that those characters were elsewhere, I would not be complaining right now. But they show them getting hit by a giant explosion that I'm just like, nah.
Yeah, but you forget, Adric. Ant-Man went small. So he
Being
avoided
small
an
somehow
explosion.
avoid the explosion.
Well, if you think about it, if he went to the size of a cockroach can live through a nuclear bomb. So, facts. Yeah, argue that, bitch.
Nah, I'm with Falco. None the good guys. Not enough good guys died. Not enough good guys died.
Here's the thing, right? You have the biggest war ever on screen, and I love Infinity War. I think that's the best Marvel movie because stuff actually happens. But at the end of this, I want you all to tell me who actually dies from combat. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it.
What is this, a fucking pop quiz in the middle of the Beastcast?
Well, let's go. I got my answer ready. Just the good guys, or just in?
Just any of the good guys dies from combat. All right, go ahead. Tell me who.
Iron Man.
No, he does not. He dies from using the gauntlet. He doesn't actually die from
true.
fighting.
Yeah. No one died. Yeah. It was unrealistic as fuck.
The biggest battle of all time. No one dies.
No.
But yeah, like you have the snap. I can't snap my fingers, so I'm at a loss there. But yeah, the snap happens, so that's how Iron Man dies. You have what's the name? Black Widow dies on account of falling off a cliff, which I'll bring up another point.
Oh man, that's
pretty funny.
That annoyed me
Like,
so much.
imagine if it just so happened that your greatest love in life, like, imagine if your greatest love in life was Thor, and you had to throw Thor off the ledge. He's not gonna fall and die from that. So I guess it's magical. I see in the chat someone said Scarlet fights with Hawkeye. It's not suicide. Yes, it is suicide. Them fighting each other.
It was suicide.
Yeah.
She pretty much
Not Scarlet.
Black Widow,
yeah, sorry, Black Widow, not Scarlet, yeah. And then that's the other part of the film where there's this giant plot armor. Scarlet Witch has Thanos like in her magical grip. And you're like, cool, Scarlet Witch, doing magical stuff, that's great. She then proceeds to get hit by a laser cannon from space. And then, I don't know, she just gets knocked unconscious. Yeah. Those are my two gripes with the movie.
See, the funniest thing is, right? You see how triggered Adric was about Endgame? Look at his complexion. He is still white. When he talks about Street Fighter 5, he gets so mad. Like, it's visible. Literally visible on his face how much he fucking despises it. It's crazy.
But, like I said, Endgame is still a good movie. It's nowhere near as good as Infinity War. But, yeah.
You know what?
It's like it's reminding me of Game of Thrones and.
Oh God, no! We need another podcast for that.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, holy shit!
Jesus, Adric's about to have a heart attack. He's getting too worked up.
Dude.
Check the pacemaker.
I'm just gonna sum up your grievances with mine. Like, the biggest problem with the Marvel movies is they needed to be rated R. Logan was rated R, and it was more realistic than all of them combined. So
I love that movie.
That would have fixed. A lot of things.
I disagree with that because Infinity War was a good film, and that didn't need to be rated R to be a good film.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, it's foreshadowing loss. But they're just gonna bring him back.
Yeah, okay, but like, for all the nitty grittiness that Logan did have. I think, don't get me wrong, Logan was a great movie, but I think Endgame was just a poorly made superhero movie in the first place. Like,
it's not though. There's a lot of good things about it.
There are,
but
in
called a
comparison.
bad movie. Like, I think Black Panther is the worst movie.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Like, look, it's more than the R rating I played. It's just
the best movie ever, Abby.
No, I had the anticipation, hoping it would be the best ever, but
okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's more to do with the R rating. Look, so like, let me make this comparison. Every single Wolverine movie up until Logan sucked absolute balls, but because it's not a proper portrayal of how Wolverine is absolute ruthless motherfucker. But you couldn't show that in a movie that wasn't rated R. So that's one of the reasons why Logan was so great.
Did you? All right, Abby, on some fucking real shit.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, this is actually the realest shit.
All right, I'm ready.
End of Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Did you cry or not?
Fucking oath, I cried.
Yeah. My man. I mean, I don't actually cry like ever, right? But I definitely had the tears like welling up. I was like, oh
No,
shit.
Dude.
hold on. You are such a bitch when it comes to any dog dying.
Yeah, no, it's Adric.
Yes.
We're not gonna 180 because we actually had a chat earlier tonight and it was pretty. It got pretty full on, and I don't think it's material for a podcast. But I refuse to watch movies where mainly dogs die because I can't handle it, right? So maybe that is
Yo, did you not watch John Wick?
I did, and it was a fucking hard time. Look, there was some. I Am Legend is still the worst one. That
I Am
one,
Legend.
that one he
Oh.
chokes out his dog.
Oh.
That one wrecked me so bad.
Oh.
That and the two times I've been the worst, right? And this is as like an adult, right? Is that and the Futurama episode.
Oh, where
Oh shit! That the yeah.
Bender's like, he probably forgot about you. Then it fucking goes through like 5 minutes of seasons changing and the dog going back to the pizza store like every single day, or like sleeping out front of it. I think he is. And I'm like, you assholes. We didn't need that. We didn't fucking need that. You could have left it to our imagination. But no,
just like
you had to show us.
Just as like a quick tangent from everything.
Yeah.
Talking about Futurama, you think of Futurama and Simpsons, they were both great shows back in their prime. What the hell happened when Matt Groening made Disenchantment? Like, in comparison to such amazing moments like that, where that'll just stay in your memory forever. That poor dog standing outside. But then you got this new show like Disenchantment where it's just utter trash the entire way through.
I must confess, I've never tuned into a single episode of that.
Adric, have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
What do you think of it?
I don't know. It's mainly that it's just not the same writing team.
Go back to. Sorry, I just hate that show.
So what's the next best top 10 dog death in cinema?
No, it's that oh fuck! I always forget the name of it, but it's actually not the dog dying. It's the owner of the dog dying, but it still fucking wrecked me because it's the same thing of like Futurama where like the dog doesn't die, but it's like it's the Japanese dog, and they've like it's a true story. They've got the shrine of the dog. It's like Hichiko, I think it is.
Have you
Hachiko?
ever been, Baxter, to the dog that sat on the Tucker box?
Have I what? Sorry.
Ever been to see the dog that sat on the Tucker box?
Nah, but I'll also blacklist that one. Thank you.
Dude, how the hell did you take the Never-Ending Story? My God. Have you seen it?
What's the Never-Ending Story?
Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it there. Then there's a scene where, yeah. If you want to go watch it, like if anyone who's seen it knows what I'm talking about. But yeah.
Tell me what happens. What happens?
There's just a scene where the horse's name Artak dies in the swamp of sadness.
Oh wait, it's a horse? Nah,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh Jesus Christ! Okay.
It's
just got to be a dog. All right.
There's a movie I refuse to watch. I remember watching the trailer.
Have you seen Marley and Me?
I think
that's another one I refuse, but only because my mum watched it one night when I was back living at home, and I remember walking out of my bedroom, like, you know, grabbing a drink or something, and I walked out, see her like 2 boxes of tissues, fucking bawling her eyes out, after our dog just passed away, watching this film.
Oh God.
Jesus.
And I was like, holy fucking shit! All right, I've never watched this movie ever, but no, the movie is called, I think it's like A Dog's Purpose or A Dog's Life. Where it's like the dog dies and then goes into another dog's body or something like that, and it like continuously goes through life, like looking after this one owner or something. I saw the trailer for it, and I'm like, never will I in my life watch that movie. There is no way I could handle it. The whole premise of the film is dogs dying. Like, no, I'm not doing it. And yeah, sorry for getting off topic.
We know what Baxter's kryptonite is. If you ever want something
Damn
out
fucking
of it.
straight.
At
Jesus.
every major one, if you bunk him with him, just throw it on the telly and make sure he doesn't sleep properly.
No, like I have to be invested. If it was like background noise, I probably wouldn't care. Fuck, I was gonna bring something up. I forgot now.
Well, if you guys want to bring something up, now's the chance, because I think we're gonna round up soon.
Yeah, that's fair. It is 9:30.
Yeah, what you got, Baxter?
Alright, I'm gonna pan it off to the chat. Any questions for our guests? Can be about anything. We've clearly deviated onto the every topic under the sun right now.
This is kind of what you wanted, though, right, Abby?
Yeah.
Because you wanted
We're
like
the
a
degenerates. We make it this.
talk about anything.
Oh, here's one from right.
Whenever Amaterasu dies to Marvel vs. Capcom,
Nah, I got a question.
it's just me crying
I
on
like
the setup.
I like Rex one.
Yeah, I like Rex's question. When are you gonna win a second round bat in Queensland?
Never. I don't. Even if I did play Tekken, I don't go to the Rambats.
Do you wanna pull that quote up? I think it was last year when we did this podcast where Baxter said that he's gonna win a major for Tekken.
So I'll have it in the show notes. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I said things. I ain't a bitch. I ain't backing down. Yeah, I did say it. I didn't do it. There you go. Probably one of the first times I've talked the talk and not walked the walk. So it's it's gonna happen.
It's fine. Alright. While the chat is deliberating, if we get any questions, I got one for all three of you. We talked a lot about fighting games in the current landscape of today's climate. Some are good. Some are like games we're playing but could use some help. What game out there do you really want to see be taken care of, just on a personal level? An upcoming one that's like on the decline, one that's out currently.
I think Eunice deserves it.
Taken care of.
Oh,
King
give
of Fighters 15.
the limelight.
Yeah.
Like Eunice. What do you think the problem is with Eunice? Is like not enough eyes on it. It's just not known. Not enough people playing it.
It's the aesthetic. I think is one of the big reasons. Everyone I've ever talked to who has played Eunice thinks the mechanics are great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's been any exception.
Except for me.
No, you said you liked them.
No, remember I said the game's missing something. I don't know what it is, but it's missing something that it doesn't encapsulate people.
I think it's mainly the aesthetic.
No, but the game looks nice. Like it looks similar to like Blaze Blue. It's not quite as nice as Guilty Gear, but it looks similar to like Blaze Blue art style.
Yeah, but how many people like really play those games like as a general audience? It's not as many compared to Street Fighter, blah blah, and it doesn't have the like strong IP of other games.
Just as a side note, I like Baxter's answer of King of Fighters 15, but I'm gonna say Street Fighter 6 because if that game had Shrek in it, I don't know how I could live with myself, man.
I honestly think that the worst thing is, right? Like we're memeing about Shrek. Even if Street Fighter 6 has Shrek in it, that game will still probably be in the top 3 entered games at EVO. That's how fucking bad it is now. Like, there is no wrong, basically, that Capcom can do with Street Fighter. Like, they're just always going to get a player basis. They can fuck up undeniably like they did with Street Fighter 5 and still have 5,000 entrants at EVO, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, man. Like, it's actually beyond a
Look,
joke.
I feel like with Street Fighter, they will always get a certain number of like viewers and entrants, but just because of the name. Like Street Fighter is an established name, so it's like it's always got that backing it. But
Yeah.
There's no denying the decline you've seen over the years. I mean,
Well, honestly, like, if there wasn't a decline, like, for crying out, they put a rootkit on PC players, like, computers for a while. Like, there had to be a decline somewhere after what they've done. But
well, in a weird way, I think Capcom screwing up like they did has been a good thing.
yeah, I think so too.
It's seen the rise of like Tekken, anime games, gotten bigger. Like everything is as closer together now in terms of how I guess you'd say important it is to the general health of the scene. Whereas before it was like if Street Fighter died back when it was like Street Fighter 4 at its peak, it would have been devastating. Now, if Street Fighter like died, it's not going to. But I'm just saying, if it did, it'd be a bit whatever.
it would.
Yeah. Like, say what you want about Dragon Ball and like the current landscape of the tiers, like it's still fun to watch. Like if if Street Fighter died right now, like I'd still enjoy me some Dragon Ball. I'd still enjoy me some Tekken. Still enjoy me some Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I think I actually have two answers. I think King of Fighters 15 is like the like competitor aspect. Like I would love to compete in King of Fighters 15. In terms of like viewership and what I want to like actually see, it would probably be Tekken 8.
Yeah.
I hope, like, touch wood, but I really hope that game, when it does release finally, I hope it is just as, if not better, than Tekken 7 FR, like the iteration of the game that was actually very well received and made the scene blow up and everything, right? Not the arcade shitty release, but once they fixed up the initial issues, like, that version of the game, if it's similar or better than that game, I really hope Tekken 8 just absolutely blows up, like an undeniable amount, because one, Tekken community alone has that very grassroots element still, which I love. Street Fighter is too commercial now. You know, look at Street Fighter League, like that shit's fucking awful. And then you look at like any Tekken major and there's still people like Ubby going absolutely nuts, losing his voice and slapping chairs and shit. So I think Tekken has that grassroots feel. The game is good. The game has very, very unique characters still. And even like new characters that they kind of bring out are kind of... One, I think they're doing a smart thing of introducing pop culture into it. I think they did a very good job in bringing in new players with the introduction of like Akuma and Geese into the franchise as well. Well, that's what I meant by the pop culture thing. It's Negan, right? But like, even then, yes, the character's like not played that much at all. I don't think the character's that strong, right, Abby? He's not considered that strong.
Negan, no.
I know his sidestep's really good, but the character overall is not that good, so he's not really played that much. But just having that, I remember the Evo reveal, how much like crazy exposure the game got because of that.
Yeah.
I think it was still a smart decision by them. So if Tekken 8 does all of those correct things and it like holds the recipe that it currently has with Tekken 7 FR, I really hope that game just goes leaps and bounds above the rest.
Rec has asked a question: what game should all fighting game players play? I would definitely say for 2D fighters, King of Fighters 13. It teaches you such a strong grasp of fundamentals and neutral, and how to dash around the screen and control space. That it's one of the games I just think everyone should have given a try, or definitely drawn more attention into it. For 3D, maybe.
He says it's not limited to fighting games.
Oh. That's a...
Well, games should everyone play. Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction.
It's a damn good game.
Favorite game of all time. Have we done this before? I feel like that we've done this before.
I don't think we've done it to non-fighting games.
Hit us with your favorite.
Favorite game of all time?
Yeah, go on.
I swear to God, you better not give me a shit answer, Abby.
Pressure's on.
Alright, while we go around.
Yeah, go around. Go around. Come back to me.
Talk about this. I think me, Alucard, and Adric have talked about it before.
Well, remind people what your answer is.
Mine's Diablo 2 Lord, or Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction.
What's yours, Alucard?
Say it fluctuates. At the moment, probably 13, but I know my favorite game for a while was definitely Risk of Rain. As in the
Okay.
original.
Yeah. Okay.
Abby looks stressed, dude.
Dude.
He put his head in his hand. He's looking down at the floor. He's like, "Fuck, man, I better have a good answer. This is my podcast. I can't let this."
Yeah, no, it's just I have a top 5, and I don't know because they're all like from different genres, and I don't know which one to put at the forefront.
Nah, you gotta pick one. Gun to your head.
Oh, fucking hell.
Under your head. Adric, what's your selection before we shoot Abby up?
Mine is Baldur's Gate 2.
Yeah.
It's Shadows of Arm. That is my favorite game of all time.
Abby, time's ticking. 3,
Give me 10 seconds.
4,
10, 9,
3,
8, 7, 6,
6,
5, 4,
4,
3,
3,
2, 1.
Final
1,
Fantasy
go.
6.
Oi. No.
So are you big into JRPGs or just the Final Fantasy series?
The old school ones like Chrono Trigger,
Alright, respect for Chrono Trigger, that game's awesome.
Tales of Fantasia, yeah.
Have you
After
played Octopath?
it's on my bucket list.
Ah, okay.
It's on my bucket list.
Diverging back. So, back to Rex's question. So,
Yeah.
what game should all fighting games players play? We've given like the general non-fighting game, but if you had to say fighting game specifically,
I'm gonna go unconventional fighting games and say Def Jam Fight for New York.
I'm gonna say
Why?
Rumblefish.
Dude! Oh, give me some internet fist bumps right now, dude. Oh, dude, you are a legend for giving that game out. Oh my god, really? Really? Dude, holy shit. Oh my god, dude.
I'm infinitely % sure we talked about Rumblefish last time we were here
We
as
did.
well.
We did?
Yeah, we talked about my boy
I must have
Bazoo.
forgot. Holy shit.
My boy Bazoo is too hype.
Oh man.
Put the rock down? You ain't moving, bitch. Some of the rocks from above.
Adric, what game?
Earth Special Forces. It's a Half-Life 1 mod. Yeah.
I loved it that no one said anything. Everyone's just like, you fucking nerd. Sorry, Adric. Don't go red, I'm sorry.
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
Alright, last chance for question, guys, or we are wrapping this up.
Abby, I got a question. Any developments on Evo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask me in 2 weeks.
Alright, I'll ask you again in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Hey, Adric, any more developments on Evo?
Not going.
Yeah, I didn't think you were, you bitch.
I've heard
You know,
nothing
Abby,
but bad
no,
things
shut up,
about
Patrick.
Evo. Nothing but
shut
bad
up.
things about Evo.
Wait, have you ever been?
No.
Okay, well,
On account
that-
of
that-
everyone's having
that-
nothing but bad things to say
that's-
about.
that's not true. That's not true. It's just when you compare it to
Right.
other majors.
Alright, so someone says to me, the spectator experience is really good, but you should go to any other tournament to actually play in it. That makes me think, hey, I should go to another tournament.
Alright, so Abby, let me hit you with the actual factuals right now, okay?
Let's go.
So Evo is probably going to be my last big tournament,
Mhm.
right? And, you know, because I'm getting married in September, for those who might not know in the
Mhm.
stream chat.
Congratulations.
What I asked was my good friend Adric, aka Falco,
Mm.
also probably, you know, my greatest rival in all fighting games
Yeah.
since, you know, we've stepped it up,
Mhm.
both of us back in like 2013, 14, whenever it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, Adric, it'll be perfect. We can go to Evo together for like a week, fly back, and then you can stay at mine. And then we've got Sunnyside up the weekend following after Evo, right? We get like a good 2 weeks hanging out with each other.
Mhm.
that was gonna basically be like my buck celebration for my wedding.
Yeah.
And guess what? Adric just can't be bothered. That's literally his only excuse. My good friend Adric Middleton, aka Falco, dark-sided Falco, part of the family that I'm also part of, apparently, or so I thought until this, denying me my Bucks night at Evo.
I didn't deny you shit.
Adric, if I did have a webcam, I'd be as red as you were talking about Street Fighter, alright? Piece of
You
shit.
wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. I'm definitely too white for that. I don't change colour. I won't bring up the Elio cup. Sorry, stream. That's it. That's an inside joke. We won't expand.
Yeah, I know. Just to comment on that. That's kind of a bitch move, Falco, but I'm not gonna say anymore. I'll gladly take it. I'll gladly take your place if you want. Like I know we shit on Evo ever since we come back from Combo Breaker, and that's probably what other people have been saying in your ear. But
people have shat on Evo for as long as people have gone there and come back to tell me about it.
Mm.
No joke. No one has come back from Evo and said to me, "Evo was really great. You should go."
Baxter, you're probably to blame with that because you're one of those people.
Yes, Baxter as well has said that to me. People have said, "Oh man, the Sunday was really hype when we went to the arena." That's the only positive thing I've heard.
Yeah.
But everyone is like, "Man, you should really go there. Like, it's got to be on the fighting game bucket list." No, it's not on.
Notice the face is still white.
Hey, DreadTech, stop spreading misinformation. I know, like, hey, if I'm going to Evo for Vegas and all the extra stuff, so I recommend you do that too. But yeah, that's just me. Oh, Evo's got nice. Vegas has nice food. I can recommend you some nice Brazilian barbecue.
Buffets. That's definitely.
Yeah.
Abby, I got one question.
Alright, we'll make this the last one.
Alright. I want to know what's your, I guess, both inside and outside FGC. What are you doing for, like, half to 2019, 2020? What's your plans?
What's my
your big
plan?
plans? Yeah. Because you've been doing podcasts for ages. You're a big community member for the FGC. You TO, like, every single time there's BAM on, or even like at other events, right? Like you always try to help out as much as possible. It's like, what's your plan? Do you have anything planned or?
No, you kind of put me on the spot. I'm just gonna keep doing what
I
unless you got plans for me.
This is some really roundabout way of Baxter trying to talk about his plan. I think that's
Let me tell you.
You are spot on. You're spot on. I have no plans, Baxter. What are your plans?
Now that you ask. Nah, so nothing?
Yeah, like maybe if I was actually a pro player like you guys, I'd be like, yeah, dude, I'm looking to get sponsored next year. You know, that way I wouldn't have to worry about trying to put the money together to go to Evo.
But I mean, dude, at Evo, didn't you do really fucking well that year that we were all there?
Yeah, that was years ago, man. I'm washed up. I'm TO status now.
Is it just you just don't? I remember you saying that you don't like the online for Tekken, so it's like hard for you to practice.
Okay, look, here's my current situation with Tekken. The online is so trash that I would rather invest time into playing Mortal Kombat, even though Tekken is my preferred game, and that in turn inhibits my growth for Tekken, and like, which is a thing because everyone's getting better. Sydney guys especially because they have that BKB hub, which is fucking godlike, and Melbourne guys are getting better incrementally because they're putting in work in other, like, in whatever way they can. Meanwhile, I'm just, yeah, I'm not improving.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's actually like identical to me with DBZ.
Mhm.
Like, I cannot physically stand playing online.
I
Like,
get so
frustrated so fast, and like I was talking to Adric about this like a little while ago. Like, I stopped getting frustrated about fighting games like quite a while ago, and the only time I actually get like pissed off whatsoever is when I play online in DBZ. It's the only time because
I'm 100% the same with Tekken. Like,
yeah,
I
you
enjoy
literally can't do
streaming.
anything.
I really enjoy streaming, and for a while I would tolerate the online, but I can't do it anymore. I just can't. The few times that I stream Tekken now is just practice mode. I'm just.
Whereas, and like this is what makes it even worse, right? And I said this to Waz, it's that I put up with DBZ online because I didn't have anything to compare it to. Then MK came out, and I could play Waz, who's by far our best player at the moment, right?
Yeah.
And I played him, I've played him like multiple times now online, and it is by far, like, I could play that, and I could constantly improve, and I would never have to go to an offline meet, right? Like, that's how good it is. Yes, there's like little intricacies, like flawless blocking, obviously, because you specifically have to block something within 3 frames, right? So obviously that's a little bit more difficult online, but even then, that is still possible online. Whereas DBZ, I can't even fucking play against anyone, not even people in the same state as me online, and actually do well.
Yeah.
Like, it is such a deterrent for me playing that game.
Like, I got a few friends that live within 5-minute drive from me, man. No joke. Like, Rami lives 5-minute drive from me. I can't play him online. Online. It's just. Yeah.
And like, circling back to what we were talking about like what makes a fighting game work, I think netcode now. 100%. If you don't have a good netcode, just don't even fucking bother releasing.
Yeah, dude. I made. I don't know if you guys saw that tweet I made a couple of days ago. Like, Tekken, like, is in a great spot in every department except for online. Like, just fix that and it's flawless.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Tekken 8.
Well, Street Fighter versus Tekken. Tekken versus Street Fighter. Yeah, if that's what they're alluding to. But yeah. So what are your plans for the upcoming year, Baxter?
No, well, I'm going to ask Adric, to be honest. Because Adric was telling me, oh, I don't want to go to EVO, I want to go to Japan.
Oh, you're going to
expand on that, bitch. Yeah.
Well, this is the time where DBZ actually announcing its tour would be a good, instead of just not doing that and saying, yeah, we'll be at CE.
Yeah.
So we have no one has plans. No one has plans.
my plan is attend university. That's about it.
Yeah, you don't do anything fighting game related anymore, which is understandable.
It's very depressing though. I miss it so much. I think out of every community that I've been a part of, the fighting game community has to have been the best one so far. Like, the people in it, the way the environment works.
Still waiting on that D&D podcast, mate.
It'll come one day when I start playing again. I don't even have time for that, man. It's just sad life.
Alright, guys. If those are your questions, we are gonna wrap it up. You want to give a shout out, Sam? Alucard?
Shout outs to the FGC community, man. You guys, although you're changing and fluctuating, I don't know half your faces anymore.
I'm cutting you off. Stop saying FGC community. It's like how people say ATM machine.
ATM machine, yeah. I'm saying fighting game community. That's what I'm talking to. Continuing. Shout outs to you guys. I don't know half you anymore, but you know.
You know the ones that matter.
You guys are putting in the real work there, keeping it alive, doing what I couldn't do.
Adric? Oh, before Adric gives shout outs, Sam, if the people want to follow you, where can they catch you?
At FithAlucard on everything, FITH, not the number. Keep it up.
Adric, shout outs?
Oh yeah, I have a sponsor. And yeah, that's it. I'm good.
Alright, I'm gonna let Baxter handle your socials. Baxter, shout outs.
Well, actually, while Adric was giving his shit shout-outs, I was looking up my Facebook memories just quickly, right? And it actually tells you like when you became friends with people as well.
Yeah.
And 4 years ago today, I became friends with Blake on Facebook.
Oh wow.
Which means it's 4 years ago since I first started teaching him how to play fighting games. So shout-outs to Blake. He gets one now because he popped up on my Facebook. Shout outs to Waz being the figurehead of Australian FGC at the moment. I say at the moment because it could change at any point, but he's doing really good. His stream's blowing up. He's putting in work. He's going to CEO. He's going to Evo. So he's making big waves within the MK or NRS community. So he's doing really well. Apart from that, shout outs to Kim. And that's it. Oh, shout outs to Danny, who's also playing Final Fantasy 14 behind me.
Love you,
having
Danny.
a lot of fun. He's been listening in and laughing at random shit.
Tell him to play Final Fantasy 6.
Hey, Danny. Abby says play Final Fantasy 6. He looked up into the air and then he went, nah. So I think that's a no. Sorry, mate.
Alright, no, it's his loss. His loss. Where can the people follow you, Baxter?
Actually, let me check, because I don't know what it's DS_Baxter.
And Baxter, where can they follow Falco?
I think it's just DS_Falco.
Thank you.
There you go.
Dude, and like,
Correct.
you're putting out videos and content, yeah? Do you want to plug your channel, or?
Not really. I
Alright.
haven't been doing much lately, so... no.
Alright, all good, all good.
Oh yeah, I have an annual video release, so check out my YouTube. It's got good stuff on there.
And obviously, Baxter competing at Evo, it's welter then. I don't know if Falco is going to OHNs, but yeah, it's going to have to wait.
I have some wedding to go to.
Oh yeah, shit. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. Sorry to bring up a sour spot.
All three of us will not be in attendance. Abby, you can go to OHN, I guess, if you want.
Yeah, have fun at OHN.
I don't know, maybe chuck me a fucking invite. I wouldn't be at OHN as well.
Whoa.
I wanted you to say it so bad. That was too good.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm guessing because poor Yusuf, because I invited Yusuf, right?
Yeah.
And that poor bastard, I feel so bad for him because he apologized so many times.
Yeah.
Because he tried so hard to put it on a different weekend, but it just, of
Yeah,
course,
that's just bad. That's just unfortunate. Yeah. But it is what it is. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks again for tuning on. Much love to FithAlucard, Baxter, and Falco for jumping on last minute. Very much appreciated. Thanks for tuning in, guys. All the banter was good.
Thanks for having us, Abby.
No worries. Anytime.
Love you,
Wasn't the first time, won't be the last. I can assure you.
The degenerates.
Alright.
The degenerates.
Peace out. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.